you mentioned that our friend, who I'm not going to name because we're not here to blow up spots,
Yeah.
but that he is a family man,
Yes.
and I have been sitting on asking a question that I think could make us billions of dollars.
Ooh.
And the name of this idea is similar to an existing idea, but we're literally switching one letter out for another.
Okay.
A subscription service called OnlyFams.
Okay. Go on. I
So,
need you to walk me there.
so come with me, come with me. Whereas OnlyFans might be a place to present your feet or your nether
Other
regions
parts.
for
Yes.
consumption by people willing to pay money.
Yeah.
OnlyFans would be a sort of subscription service for people who are dedicated to their families. And so only your family can pay you
Oh.
to like
Okay.
present them with content. It doesn't have to be nude content either. I'm not saying that this is like a stepmom and stepson situation. I'm
No,
saying
gross. I was imagining like, okay, Dad, I'll pay you to play Roblox with me or whatever.
this is what I'm saying. It is a combo of Cameo and OnlyFans whereby you can require
Get to know
people
your
within your family to give a shit about stuff, and you can incentivize that, right? So like play Roblox
Yeah.
with me. I put $20 in your OnlyFans, so I need you to promise that you're not going to argue with the umpire at my baseball game. And that's literally all I'm
Or-
asking you for.
Okay, so it's kind of sad when you imagine the children paying for their parents, but imagine the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay, son, I'd love for you to listen to me talk about Led Zeppelin for an afternoon. Here's $20.
Yes. This
I
is
like
the
it
thing,
more
right?
in that direction. Yeah.
And it can go both directions. I'm
Yeah.
going to say that like what we have determined by this point, late February 2025, is that capitalism is working perfectly.
Yep.
Everything should be run like a business, including the family.
Agreed.
Let's say, you know what? If your kid isn't bringing in enough money to cover the costs of raising them, kill them. Put them out of their misery. Obviously, fire that child. That is
Yep.
what we are learning.
You can make another one.
Right. And odds are good that the next one will either be so terrified of the room of skulls that you've amassed from the previous failures, or
Right.
just kind of maybe just self-motivated. Maybe they'll pop out red-pilled and ready to be like, I'm an earner.
Yeah, I think that you mentioned macroplastics before we got on. I think that with each successive child, there's more and more plastic concentration, both in the child and in the world. And that's got to be working in your favor, right?
Yeah.
I think this is a great idea.
How much like every man's like testicles now contain like some absurd amount of
95%.
plastic?
I don't know.
It's basically like you're lucky if a live swimmer gets through because you're otherwise
Yeah.
it's a pellet gun down there.
And a sieve. It's a
Yeah. There's just this is a good point, right? You remember the videos where sea turtles are getting caught in the plastic rings?
That's
from soda
exactly what's
things?
happening.
Yes, that's sperm's doing that, and it's microplastics.
Oh god.
So the solution to all of this, obviously, is OnlyFans, which will allow us to use our capitalist power that we all wield in equal measure, and there's no reason to question it at all, to coerce each other into activities that we're not accustomed to doing.
I think that's great. I think you're right that this is a $1 billion idea for us.
It's the
Copyright,
ultimate freedom,
trademark,
really.
patent, etc.
Great, yeah. Go ahead and email us, debutbuddies@gmail.com to make...
Debutbuddies at onlyfams.com.
I'm gonna say 7-digit offers only to get in on this idea.
Oh,
I don't
minimum.
want to hear anything below 7 digits. And
Yeah.
I'm saying left of the decimal point, people. I don't want to see something
Right.
come in with those 2 zeros on the end and you're like, oh, it's 7. Fuck you.
You know what we meant.
Exactly. You knew what we meant because capitalism is great. It's working. And so
I think-
give us money.
Give us money. OnlyFams.
OnlyFams. Speaking of Only Fams.
Oh, yeah.
Ahoy, listeners! This is Debut Buddies. It's a fortnightly podcast about firsts. My name is Nate, and I'm one of the buddies.
And I'm Kelly. I'm another buddy. The other buddy?
The
What do I
other
say?
buddy. At
The
least for
other
now.
buddy.
At least for now, you're the other buddy. This
Yeah,
is not a
Chelsea's
permanent thing.
exploring. Where's she off to this week?
Kuala Lumpur.
Cool.
From now on, unless Chelsea does text us and say, hey, don't do that anymore, I'm going to select the most interesting sounding destinations from Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, and that is where
Perfect.
Chelsea will be.
Perfect.
On the episode that she is unavailable for.
That's where she is.
That's where she is. Kuala Lumpur.
Dope.
That's right.
Can't wait to get a postcard.
It's true. Assuming that we even have posts or cards. Or
good point.
tomorrow.
Or tomorrow.
It's going to be great. But again, to complete the transition that I was doing, the segue, we were talking about some OnlyFams earlier.
That's right.
Now we're going to talk about a found fam of a sort. Mm-hmm. One that is run entirely by a teen female matriarch with no aspirations of her own. I mean, she has a single aspiration. We're going to get into that.
Yeah,
a
she'll
single
find
aspiration. It works out. It's great. Everything's going to be fine.
She gets there.
She does. She sure does. We are talking about the first Disney animated feature film, which just so happens to be 1937's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Something that, while I was looking this up and rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah, it is Seven Dwarfs.
Dwarfs.
It is not dwarves, even though dwarves would be plural. But that apparently comes from Tolkien calling them dwarves. And otherwise, even in standard parlance, hey, look, I write, I edit,
Yeah.
I do things with words for a living.
Yeah.
And it was delightful news to me to realize, like, no, in English, technically, you're supposed to say dwarfs.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's a lot of fun.
I have seen both and always just assumed, like, oh, okay, it's a both thing. Whatever.
Yeah, apparently with the V is because of J.R.R.
Tolkien.
Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Wow.
So the invention of the idea that there are dwarves as a sort of species, which does imply then that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is really just saying these are men.
Short guys.
These are just little people men. That's what they are. We are not talking about a magical group of people of a different sort of subclass of humanoid entity living in a Middle Earth sort of setting.
No,
we are
they're
just
just
saying
dudes.
like these bros are just short and they love to work.
There are short kings.
They are short peasants or
They're kings in our hearts.
well,
right?
yes. Hey, look, they have kingly energy, but they do not hold the station. And this is
They've
a
got
movie that
big
very
king
much believes in
energy.
those stations.
Boy, does it.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is a 1937 animated musical fantasy film produced by Walt Disney Productions and released by RKO Radio Pictures, which of course was Howard Hughes and also Orson Welles. Those are your two big names. I believe Wells starts RKO, Hughes buys RKO later in life when he's like, hey, I've made planes. I also want to make movies.
Yeah, sure.
And then after that,
Go for
I'm
it.
going to make pee in jars. What do you guys think? It's a great product.
It's good to be multifaceted.
Yeah, it worked out well. So this is based, of course, on the 1812 Brothers Grimm fairy tale.
Yup.
And the production was supervised by a gentleman named David Hand. And there was a team of sequence directors. So Percy Pierce, William Cottrell, Larry Morey, Wilfred Jackson, and Ben Sharpstein.
Yeah.
This is the first ever animated feature film produced in the United States, and it is also the first cell animated feature film ever.
Oh, cool. Okay, so remind me how the cells work. There's like do you remember how those work?
Okay. I don't know exactly. What I always thought the deal was is that original animation was like, it's basically a flip book.
Yeah.
And we're just filming it as we flip the pages. Cell
Yeah.
animation allows you to like layer and move
Superimpose
pieces
stuff.
and superimpose things and create a sense of depth, but also allow you to have like, okay, we got a matte painting watercolor background. We overlay a cell that has Snow White's normal body on it. And then we want her to be raising her arms out to the side because she's dancing in a very Sound of Music style. And
Yep,
so
yep,
we're
yep.
going to put the cell over that has her arms down and then middle and then up. And we're getting each of those frames. And that way we don't have to render every single image every
Each
single time.
individually, every
Yeah,
single time.
we're
Yeah.
able to do it piecemeal, so it makes the animation process slightly less laborious. It's still
Right.
absurd how much work
Slightly
went into this.
less. Yeah. But it's all still like it's all still photographed. This is all still stuff that existed in the real world. None like
Oh yeah.
this is 1937 folk. Or 37, 32?
37. Yeah, 37 was
37.
when it
So
came
it's like
out. They started producing it in 1933 was when Disney
damn.
conceived of the idea, and they started the animation studio kind of switching gears from short film stuff to, hey, we got to make something that's an hour and a half to 2 hours long. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Is that possible? We've only done 5-minute things that come on before, Gary Cooper shoots somebody or doesn't.
Well, they nailed it. They got 80 minutes or whatever.
They sure did.
Yeah.
They sure stretched this to 80 minutes. We'll get to that later. This film premiered at the Carthay Circle Theater in Los Angeles on December 21st of 37, and then it had a general release the next year, February 4th of 1938.
Wait, so it came out in 1937, but like by the skin of its teeth.
Yeah, they were like, we got to sneak this in before Christmas to one theater in LA, and
Yeah.
then next year the world can see it. So yeah, it was technically really a 1938 movie, by the way anybody would have thought of it.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
There was a huge amount of doubt from the film industry. Obviously, they were like, "Hey, look, we kind of cracked. Like, we're just barely doing talkies, and you want to like make everything yourself? You crazy
Okay.
guy? You're
Do
over
people
here.
want to
You're,
see that?
yeah. Why would anybody want to look at pictures talking? That's weird. Ends up that it has a $1.5 million budget, which is a huge amount of money in 1937-38. It makes about $8 million during its initial release. So it was the
Whoa.
highest grossing film of 1938. And then it briefly held the record for the highest grossing sound film of all time.
Oh, that's funny.
Though, could you imagine watching this without sound? If it were a silent film, it would be interminable. Like,
Oh my God.
so much of this movie hinges on
It's
they're
you
gonna
need
play
the
instruments
music.
and do a dance for a little bit. Like, are you ready to watch that? If you cut all that stuff out in a silent form, it would be like 30 minutes long, and
Yeah.
you'd be like, I guess that's cool.
Though I will say, in the beginning, so much happens without much dialogue at all.
Yeah,
Like
this is
the
true.
plot really everything gets established very rapidly with like 3 words.
Oh yeah. What, the mirror talks mostly, and then the queen talks a
yeah.
little bit, and then it's just like we're just going. We're just
And
showing
then
you
it's
stuff.
just-
You kind of
yeah.
know what's going on anyway. You're familiar with these grim fairy tales. You just
You
enjoy.
know
Enjoy
the
this feast for
story.
your senses. So Snow White was also the highest grossing animated film ever for 55 years. So it took
how many
until the
more?
80s.
Yeah. Damn. What usurped it?
I didn't look that up. I'm gonna guess
Huh.
it had to be one of your like when did Lion King come out, or Little Mermaid? Little Mermaid probably. Little Mermaid was like 86.
Those are both 90s.
87?
Oh, are those? Huh.
Or maybe not. Maybe Little Mermaid is later than that. But that would be my guess. It's got to
But it
be
was
something
probably-
around there.
And it was probably another Disney.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 101 Dalmatians. It could have been something like that
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But yeah, it would have had to have been something that had enough of a runway that it came out, it was popular, and people kept watching it, which would work because Disney did that with this, and it's done it with all of those films for so long, where it would do a theatrical re-release. You would sneak it back into the vault. You could never see this
Gotta
again
put it in the
until
vault.
another year from then. And they'd be like, Snow
Got
White's back
to.
for 2 weeks only.
Yeah.
It was, re-released theatrically many times. It was only home video released in the 90s.
Yep.
Adjusted for inflation, this movie has grossed almost $3 trillion.
Jesus Christ.
Or no, billion. Yeah, 2.3 billion. Sorry. Not
Okay.
trillion,
Oh my.
billion.
Billion is still
quite a lot of
impossible
money.
to fathom.
This was nominated for Best Musical Score at the 1938 Academy Awards. Walt Disney was awarded an honorary Oscar for the film in 1939. So they didn't
what
win
was
anything.
going on?
But they were like, "Hey, Walt, this was pretty good. We just want to give you a thing for doing this because, man, we really like this. Please do more."
I guess they didn't have the animated category yet. So we can't give him, like, he's not getting Best Picture with Snow White, So we can't.
I don't know what it would have been up against in 38, 39.
Yeah, but an animation is never going to win against a standard talkie.
Yeah, against your Wizards of Oz and your Gone with the Winds. Would you like to hazard a guess at what Walt Disney's entirely unique bespoke Oscar looked like?
Oh my God. Was it Snow White surrounded by the dwarves?
Yeah, I mean thematically. Yes, you're dead on. He received a normal-sized Oscar and then 7 miniature Oscars.
Tiny little Oscars?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's cute.
Yeah, isn't that kind of cute?
I would feel so burdened by the clutter, but it is
Can you
cute.
imagine he's gonna carry this pile of shit out of there?
Like
"Thanks
you're
so
gonna
much,
find those at the
everybody."
Goodwill. Passing
Shirley
them out
Temple.
in gift card or gift bags to my kids' birthday parties. Take these. I
Hey
don't
kids,
want
you guys
them.
want an Oscar? Here's some
Here's a
swag.
tiny Oscar.
Yeah. Have my Dopey Oscar or my Grumpy Oscar.
Here's my honorary Oscar, not even a real one.
Yeah, I didn't really win this. Just in case anybody's checking, the whole participation trophy thing, it seems to go back to the times that people think it didn't exist in.
Yep.
But Shirley Temple presented the Oscar to him and Disney.
Oh, that's funny because she's also so small.
Yeah, she's little.
Yeah,
so
she
can
was
you
just a
imagine
little
she's trying to
guy.
carry all of those things?
Do you think that they had her dress up like one of the dwarfs?
Oh man, I hope so.
I hope so. Which one? Grumpy. Can you imagine her coming out as Grumpy?
Man. I don't
Cute.
think. Well, she could probably pull off Grumpy.
I think she could. I think it'd be very cute.
So this was a major milestone in the whole animation industry because it basically harkened this whole cell shading thing. They also had to come up with a special technique to add color because the faces, and we'll talk about this, but Snow White and the Queen's faces were both difficult to get a tone to. Because they were trying to they want to try to create a consistent sort of flesh tone, but then they also needed to add other details to it, and things were kind of running together. So they ended up using red dye, and then they added a small piece of cotton around the tip of a pencil and kind of brushed that on every cell.
They did airbrushing, but
they airbrushed the women because they just couldn't.
because they always have been.
They always have to, yeah.
Even our animated women.
Which, yeah, I mean, one, totally tracks, and two, again, the amount of effort that went into this movie. And that's the thing, I really want to put that up on Front Street, that I respect and admire the amount of effort that went into this movie, and I'm going to say that now.
It looks good.
It does.
It looks good.
Yeah, it visually
after all
holds
this time.
up. It holds up visually. The film was recognized by the Library of Congress in 1989 as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant.
Yeah.
It was also added to the 100 Greatest Films of All Time by AFI in 2008. And it was named the greatest animated film of all time in 2008 as well.
Yeah, I feel like that second one is easier to believe.
Yes.
Like, yeah, sure, it's the greatest animated film. Is it in the top 100 greatest films?
I don't know that it actually qualifies for either for me. I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
really great animated films too, like all
Yeah.
of the Studio Ghibli stuff and Satoshi Kon stuff, where they would not have done the things that they did without this existing, but that doesn't make it
That's
the
what it comes
greatest of all
down to.
time. It makes it like an essential canonical piece.
Right. It's like a pioneering piece, which doesn't necessarily make it greatest. It makes it necessariest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was thinking about, look, if I don't have kids, and I
Yeah.
won't. I'm not going
Nope.
to. But
Nope, me
if
either.
I did,
Neither together nor with anybody else.
nope.
Nope.
If if I were to have kids, or if I just wanted to sort of educate a person who had seen no animated films of all time.
Yeah, Alien comes to Earth.
Yes.
And you need to
Yes. Here we
share
go.
with them animation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Fox. You're Scully.
Perfect.
We meet an alien. The
Yep.
alien's like, take me to your animated films.
Yep.
I would take them to this one first, only because it is the first one, and
Yeah.
because if they watch it after they watch anything else, it will be woefully disappointing.
I think it's also a pretty safe bet because largely it is inoffensive.
Yeah. It is remarkably light on stereotypical
I was so nervous.
and
I
things
was
like
so
that. Yeah,
nervous.
no, I was very impressed by the fact that watching this, I was at no point like, oh, why is that dwarf like donning bucked teeth and narrow eyes
Right.
for something? Like none of the things that become very popular one movie from now and beyond
right.
seem to be here. It is almost entirely centered on the fact that a woman's role is in the kitchen and that's all she'll
Yep.
ever want and all she should ever want,
Yep.
which is its own problem.
It is, but at least it wasn't. Boy.
Right.
But I knew that going in. They didn't do any of the racist stuff that I was worried about. Or I was real worried about Dopey. That also was fine.
Sure. Yeah,
So-
yeah. Speaking of Dopey, last couple facts I've got. In the original storyboard, Dopey was a chatterbox. Dopey had a lot of lines.
Interesting.
They-
They had to pull him because it was real problematic.
They could not find a voice actor that they felt was suitable. They even
Interesting.
gave like voiceover great Mel Blanc, who did like
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny and a bunch of other
Yeah.
voices. They gave Mel Blanc a chance and they didn't like it. So they just said like, nope, Dopey's going to be all silent pratfalls. He's going to be the Harpo of this particular comedy
That was a
ensemble.
great choice. That was a great choice. I would love to see the original script, though. What does he say?
He's just like,
Like, it can't
awooga.
be good.
Yeah. Yeah,
He
it's-
would do an awooga or two. He really thought she was a pretty lady.
Yeah.
He'd have some good, like, dagnabbits when he swallows the soap. Then I can only think of troubling things.
The soap swallowing is one of the scenes that is stuck in my brain for my entire life since I've seen that, where it's just like, oh, yep, I remember this.
So much of the physical comedy. I remember him like sleeping on a single feather. I was like, oh, I remember this so vividly.
Let's talk about the movie. Well, let's
Talk about the movie.
let's talk about our context around the movie briefly first.
Yes. I had this on VHS as a kid, probably acquired it at like a garage sale around, I mean, it would have been in the 90s. It would have been when it was released on VHS. And I loved this movie. I watched it over and over and over and over and over again. I'm sure that my dad was like, if I hear that fucking song one more time. But I loved it. So you can just imagine, like, how old would I have been? 5, 6, 7, and like watching Tales from the Crypt at night.
Yes.
And then during the afternoon watching Snow White on repeat.
You just have a palate cleanse every single
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, Snow White, reset. Now back to the puns about carrion
Now
and death.
to the real stuff. I was so surprised rewatching it at how much I remembered. Like, because it's been 25 years since I watched this, maybe longer. Like,
Yeah.
it's been a long time. And I, at the end of the last episode, I don't know if it made it into the episode or if it was off record, but you were telling me about the huntsman, which I had like no memory of.
Oh, sure.
And then the minute I saw him while watching it for this episode, I was like, oh my God, I remember how like crazed his eyes get. I remember the way that they work with the shadows. Like it all came flooding back. And same with like the melodies of the songs. Like didn't remember a ton of the words, but most of the melodies came back. I was like humming along. It was all locked away in my noggin. I just had to hit play. What about you?
I'm gonna say I had not seen this movie for probably 30 something years until I
Yeah.
watched it for this. I don't recall revisiting it anytime as a teen or an
No,
adult
why
up
would we
until this
have? Why
point.
would we have?
Yeah, and it's interesting because it is a movie that is very well ingrained. Like, of course, hi ho is in
Oh
my
yeah.
brain. It just that was something that I would have been singing as a kid because it was sort of like universally kind of it was ubiquitous
Yes.
because it was just one of the Disney staple things. I think that because there were the old like the Disney Sunday movie and special things. I can't remember what that show was called now.
I
But
don't know what you're talking about.
so every week on like network TV, I can't remember if it was Friday or Sunday. It was one of those nights where it was kind of like only families watch TV right now. Everybody else is out
Only
doing drugs
fams.
and fucking. Yeah, it's only fams right now. And so it was like on ABC, and it would be, they would start. Michael Eisner, who was at the time president of Disney, would come out. He would say something about the magic of Blippity Blop, and then they would show you something. And sometimes
Okay.
it was like a movie from the vault, and other times it was
From the
like,
vault.
here's an hour long teleplay thing, or here's part of a documentary from Epcot or whatever, right? So they would do that stuff. But
Oh, that's fun.
Hi Ho was always a part of, I think, the sort of opening montage credits sequence for that show.
Because
And
we're off to work.
yeah, because we're off to
We're
work.
going to show you some stuff.
Same thing with like Whistle While We Work.
Yeah.
That's a song that like always in my head. And when that came on, when I was watching this, I was like, oh, that's where this is from. That's weird because I totally forgot what it was from. And it's not
Yeah.
like I've even been consciously thinking of it again at all, but it just sort of
It's just in
it
there.
hit. Yeah, and otherwise, I didn't remember much of this movie. Like I knew the plot of Snow White because whatever, like we've had multiple opportunities to consume that story. It's old.
Yep.
It's 200 something years old. And I think that the main thing I was struck with was how really badass all of the Queen scenes are and how
Yes.
pretty milquetoast the rest of the movie is, with some
Yeah.
exceptions. So I have kind of deep respect for this movie as an artifact, as what it is, and as what it does. But I definitely watched it like, wow, I did not clock how indoctrinating this movie is just by proxy, right? And it is from a way different time that is,
Yes.
it's almost 100 years old, which means cultural views were different.
That's
The way we
crazy.
the
Oh
way
my
we
God.
confront things is different. The other thing that I remembered very vividly was the opening, and that was mostly because I was always kind of infatuated with the ways that some of the early Disney movies and even Looney Tunes, like the older stuff, would do this mix of there's a live action part, but it's just us opening a
yes,
book.
yes, yes. Yes, it made me think of The Princess Bride too.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
which clearly was like calling back to this era
We're
of
in
movie.
conversation with this. Yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about, well, this is how fairy tales are presented. We
Yeah,
do a
like
thing
this
where
is
the book
literature.
opens itself,
And
and we have big pages, and there, it's very kind of
ornately illustrated. The text is, it's very like, I mean, it is like a storybook. It's very like a tome you would find in the bookstore from The Neverending Story. Like,
Right.
it's very magical. It's very immersive. It like the camera like zooms into the book and takes you into the story.
Which is, it's interesting to me because the sort of this imprint of the idea that a traditional old book is calligraphied all to hell and has beautiful hand painted drop caps and things like that. And I wonder now, and I did not do the research to answer this question at all, so I have no idea, but I wonder, like, how many actual books are that way?
Oh, that's a good
Do
question.
we have many, especially like non-religious texts? Because I assume that yes, you're a Catholic monk or something, and you're dedicated to hand transcribing the one Bible that exists, so that we have two, because there's not a Xerox machine, and there's not printers, and there's not the internet. But you know, as far as like at a certain point, it's a deeply like sort of inefficient way to produce a book, to do it in this way, where it's like, wow,
Well,
that
that's a
page
very-
probably took somebody 45 minutes to write out, and it's got
God, probably
15
longer
words
than
on
that.
it, you know?
I feel like that's a very Nate, I'm sorry to do this to you. I feel like that's a very capitalistic way to view it.
Well, that's fair. Yeah.
Like, I do think that before the printing press, books were art. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
not just the illustration of the text or the writing of the text, but even the binding of it and like the fabric choices for the cover, I think was a much, and it was a much more skilled, I think.
Yeah, they're
task than it is today.
artisanal, right? It's not,
Yes.
we're not just making, yes. I mean, obviously because the thing now is, oh, cool, like paperback books exist. And that means that we
Yeah.
can just print any number of these. And so the contents of them become the only important thing. And even that is
And even
diminishing
that.
over time, right?
Yeah.
That eventually, with AI and everything, that all the things that we consume will just be like, well, we could just push a button and this will happen. And you won't care
Yeah,
either
just
way
generate it.
because you just want to experience a thing. So it doesn't really matter.
Consume.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
and-
mean, have you heard the party line at a streaming video company that I will not name because likely I will be applying to work there?
Oh, yeah, sure.
How their party line is like, we're making content designed to be on in the background while
Yes.
people are dicking around on their phones.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, but that's where we're at, right? Is the idea
Yeah.
that, oh, everybody's going to have secondary and tertiary screens, and all we want to do is occupy one of those three. And how
Yep.
can we do that in such a way that people don't have to pay attention and can still understand what's going on? Which
Right. That isn't demanding in the least.
now I will say that I also think that this is a backdoor, like we're smart, but we're not actually being that smart way of just leaning into something they've already been doing, which like Marvel's done this and a lot of studios do it, where it's like, hey, we want a movie that also plays well globally, so it just needs
Yes.
to have readily understandable semaphore and tight enough dialogue that it's easy to subtitle and everybody will understand what's going on and we won't offend anybody watching, but they'll be
Dude.
dazzled by the set pieces.
We're going to see more Snow Whites and the Seven Dwarfs, man.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, look, there could
This is
be
a great
worse
movie
fates.
to be on your phone for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you got to Shazam every bop in this thing, right? You got to throw
Oh
your phone
yeah,
out.
who's the author? How's she doing that vibrato? I have a fun fact about this movie.
Yes.
So I did have questions about the woman who voiced Snow White because, boy, the 30s had a different type of voice, right? The quality of her singing voice, beautiful, but
Is it?
twittering, I think is a word I would use to describe it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't want to listen to it, but I see that some people would.
Sure.
In
It
the 30s,
probably was a
probably.
style. Like this could have been like the auto-tune of its day. And this is just in the same way that we no longer listen to the music of, let's say, 2014 to 2018 as much.
Right.
This is a similar
Like,
sort of like sub-style that existed.
it is of a time. And I was like, what's her deal? So I go to try and find anything about her. There's very little. Couldn't find a photo of her, and saw that basically Walt Disney bought the rights to her voice. And so when other people wanted to cast her, he was like, no, she's mine, and I want her to be like mysterious for the movie. Like, she's Snow White is who she is. Yuck.
That's, yeah.
Gross. I don't care for that. That's a huge bummer.
I'm going to go ahead and just assume that he did not pay a lifetime sum.
No. There's no way. I didn't read that far, but no.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's wild.
Isn't that crazy? Gross.
It's like, it's understandable from the perspective of like, we have cast one of the most unique voices that exist at this time. And they will be immediately recognizable elsewhere, and that will diminish the quality of this movie for suspension of disbelief. But at the same time,
But no, it won't.
she barely talks in the movie. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
singing she does is airy and lilted and often drowned out by the singing of animals and other voices.
It's all vibrato. It's very vibrato forward.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been just as ready to believe you say, oh, so they just Walt Disney sang all of these and he just sped the tape up. Like I would have believed that.
That would have been crazy.
Right?
What, they could have just done that and then let that woman have a normal career.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It was weird. The music, I mean, and also that story.
I think a lot of the things about Walt Disney are weird, story-wise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the songs in this, you can call the songs weird. I'm gonna call the songs boring because they're all
Oh, they're pretty boring.
They're all really boring. Like
You know what?
they don't build really. They don't
No.
They don't crescendo. There isn't a lot of dynamic in either vocals or lyrics or composition.
No.
They just are sort of like, I'm a guy and I want to marry you.
That's sort of how music was at this time, though. Like,
Sure.
I think that both that and how sort of, like you said, milquetoast the movie is, I don't even think that that's unique to Snow White. I think that that's sort of how movies were in the 30s.
Yeah, people are fresh off of a train coming at the screen.
Yeah, that was too much. That was too much. Now we've overcorrected by swinging the other direction.
We talked about the first horror movie.
Yeah, it was like The Devil's Castle, maybe.
Oh
is
yeah.
what it was called.
Yeah, we talked about that before, and that was something where it's like, hey, this is a single set. People are going to kind of move in and out in a stagey way. And
there was a little more action in that.
but
though.
it was way more dynamic. There were special effects like this. No, actually, I'm going to walk that back. This has some pretty cool special effects. I'm not going to shit on that. It is visually very interesting when it's doing stuff. It is just
it's
so
the plot
boring
that flounders, not the animation.
Yeah. And when the plot flounders is often when the animation flounders because it's like,
well, because what's it going to do?
Keep looking at this, like they're continuing to walk. Is this?
Yeah.
Are we good with this?
Hi ho, off to work we go, etc. Home from work we go.
All right, let's jump into this thing. Let's start talking about the movie.
Yeah.
We open on a storybook being opened. Great.
Looks so good. Technicolor. This is like so color saturated. Why don't we make movies like that anymore?
Yeah.
It looks so good.
We really should because it does. It pops. I looked to see like was this a remaster? I mean, it's been obviously like touched up between 1937 and now, but it wasn't, it didn't get like a George Lucas special edition where they went in and digitally like recolored everything. They just did some general sort of enhancements of the original print.
like graininess type solves, like degradation, like more of a restoration than a reprint.
Right. Yes. Yes. We are making the fresco of Jesus look like Jesus, not like an ape man.
Potato Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, so this movie opens with a lot of reading. Like you have to read 3 pages in this storybook, and the movie knows that it's going to take you a while to do it because turning that page takes a full 3 to 5 minutes.
We just sit there.
We are hanging out.
So I am already on my phone at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about how so many people now watch movies with subtitles because of a combination of sound mixing and we're all going deaf because our world is killing us.
Too loud? What is the deal? I don't know. I need subtitles.
But I was like, well, this movie knew that you wanted to just start reading. Why would we do a voiceover? Why would we do any sort of establishing shots while this is happening? No, just look at the words.
Just look at the words.
The movie will come later.
The movie is on its way. Yeah. It did say something on these pages that essentially boiled down to, the story. It's Grimm's.
Yeah, you guys, this isn't your first rodeo. Just enjoy this. Don't just be critical.
Snow White, you know the one.
Come on. And then, of course, as we open, we get a male mirror doing everything he can to pit 2 women against each other due to male gaze misogyny. Pot. Yeah.
He's just being a little brat. He knows what the queen is up to, and he's just being a little pot stirrer, shit stirrer.
Yeah. He could lie to the queen.
Just lie.
And it's clear in his face that he could lie to her, and he's choosing instead to be like, you know what? It's actually your daughter that you ditched. She's the prettiest one.
He's like sneering and bored while he does it too. He's like, her skin's so fair, lips are red, hair dark as ravens. It's your kid, bitch. Like he's being mean about it.
Oh yeah. He is indulging in the way he dishes this information out so that he can be as cruel as possible. Which makes me think, whenever you see him, it's like a cloud of smoke around a floating head.
Yeah. And he's almost like a drama mask, the shape of his face.
I think this is just like a stoner. It's just like a Guy Fawkes mask wearing stoner, and he's just a troll. And he's like,
interesting.
Yeah, you know who is pretty? Your daughter. She's hot. And she's like, hey, wait a minute. So the mirror is just Twitter. That's what I'm saying.
I agree that the mirror is Twitter. Here is how I interpreted the mirror, not as a stoner, but as like maybe like a washed up drag queen. Okay. And so the smoke is like theatrics, and she's rolling in just like tired of it. Like she's been out of the drama. Nobody's calling the mirror the fairest of them all anymore. And so she's just like, well, then it's your daughter. Like, let's cause trouble.
Is there a story or a movie or anything that kind of explores what's going on with the mirror in greater depth?
Yes.
Okay.
I know that the answer is yes, because I remember thinking what an interesting idea that was, but I could not tell you any more than that. I think that it probably was like an early 2000s, when all the movies were like really blue?
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was in that era, but I cannot remember even a single other detail.
Because I really like the idea you just presented, the drag queen scenario, under the idea that like, okay, what if the mirror is literally just like, what if this is a 2-way mirror and the queen just has this dope person locked in a dungeon?
Yeah.
And every time she comes to the mirror, it's just like, you have to get up and go to the mirror. And so this person's like, fuck, I got it. She's back.
So annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I do think that maybe there was a plot line along these lines in the television show Once Upon a Time. And maybe that's what I was remembering.
Sure, yeah. That show was kind of blue. Or
yeah, some seasons especially.
It was like gray washed kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it was doing that thing.
It was very There was a lot going on in the color grading of that movie or of that TV show.
It's a wild show that
It's
goes
just unhinged.
thousands of places. I watched it. I think we watched it for like 2 seasons.
Oh, buddy, I think I watched every season.
And then, but from what I could tell from reading, because I was like, oh, we're kind of bouncing off of this, but I'm a little curious. And I was like, wait, who's in this show in season 4? Like, they just keep introducing like new fairy tale and or folklore and or whatever. Like anything that they could
Frozen.
get the rights to are just in it.
There's Frankenstein and his monster. I think, oh gosh, it got up to the Wicked characters.
Oh, wow.
Glinda and Greeno.
I
Can't remember her name. Thank you.
But I mean, Greeno's fun.
I don't know, man. They just, every time a season ended, you were like, what is gonna happen next?
Now I want to make a green witch character in D&D and name them Greeno Nevada.
Oh,
right? The biggest little witch in Galarian.
There you go. So I do think that the mirror is a proper character in that. Here's what I loved about how the Wicked Witch, the queen, approaches the mirror with such high drama. She asks this mirror every day, who is the fairest of them all? Is she bringing this energy every day?
Yeah,
because
I think so.
Damn, girl, that is an energy level that I do not have to like come rolling in like, oops, sorry, bud. Just hit my cat, to throw my hands in the air dramatically. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
No, I agree with you. What it implies to me is that every single day before this, she rolls up. She's got all this swag. She's like, "Who's the fairest of them all?" And the mirror's like,
knowing it's her.
You are.
Yep.
And she's like, "Cool, I'm out." And
see you tomorrow.
And then something happened on Snow White's whatever day it is, because it's not
her period. She started her period.
That could be.
Or ovulating, right? That's when we look hottest.
Yeah. They don't imply that she's 18 years old.
Oh, no.
They in fact imply that she's probably like 14? 15? Yeah. Yeah, like she is definitely
just a wee lass.
Underage, not barely anything.
Nope.
Which is why it's so creepy that we shift from, the revelation that the mirror is saying, hey, your daughter that you don't like and that you've hidden in this part of the castle to do chores is actually
dressed
the
in
prettiest
rags.
thing. Yeah, we've got her down here. She's down there. She is loving doing laundry. She can't get enough of it.
He's
having a blast.
She loves it.
She's
can't be stopped.
Yeah.
You know why? Brain totally smooth. Yeah. She's got nothing going on in that noggin. No. She's never had a single thought in her life.
The thought she starts having later will prove that to be true.
Yeah. And you know what I say? God bless.
There is something that is peaceful about that sort of situation. To just be like, you know what? I really don't have any worries about anything, nor do I have any desires or any innate sense of my value. I just enjoy what I've been set to do.
I'm just out here telling stories to pigeons around the well. Yeah. That's it. That's all I need.
And midway through this story, a prince appears in the periphery and starts pitching woo at her in the form of operatic singing, and it startles her. Well, she is leaning over the well, looking at her reflection and singing, and he comes rolling up right behind her to the point where that is a horror movie move. Like, that's know not better than to creep up on somebody.
Yeah, she could take a tumble, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, she could push you in. You don't know what she's capable of. All you know is that she can do that vibrato. That's all you know.
Yeah.
And third of all, that's just rude. That's just rude.
It's so rude. And she freaks out immediately. And he's like, wait, don't run away from me. I love you. I want to marry you. You're the perfect thing that's ever existed. And she's like, and she runs inside and slams the door.
Like genuine fear. I guess, here's what I will say. I don't know how old the prince is.
Yeah.
Is he also 15?
I mean, dude looks like he's 35. Like, he is illustrated to be a 35-year-old man. He is not illustrated to be a 14 or 15-year-old boy. And
well,
he
that's because they didn't airbrush him with the Q-tip.
He sings like a seasoned baritone. He has Luciano Pavarotti's voice.
He could have hit puberty at 12.
It's fair. Yes, maybe so. But he does not read young. He reads old.
No. I wouldn't say 30s. I would say 20s, though. Inappropriate.
Yeah.
Inappropriate.
He's creeping up on a girl. She runs away from him, and then he demands that she finish listening to the song that he's singing to her. So she has to come out on the balcony. She finishes listening to the song, and then for some reason, when resolution could simply happen there, it does not.
Well, because she was ashamed of the rags she was wearing.
I mean, it is right of her to question it. It is weird because
this is suspicious.
He has to catch like a glance of her from probably a football field away.
So far away. He's like climbing over a fence even.
Yeah.
He's not, this isn't even like a standing still glimpse.
No, he's riding his horse so far away that like he dismounts, he crosses a field, he climbs over a fence, and he's still just singing the whole time.
You know what? This is lining up with my did he just do puberty theory because he is very horny.
Sure.
A 35-year-old man is not going to be like, I'm going to stop the errand I'm running
down
to climb over a fence.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, if she's still there on my way back, maybe I'll swing by.
Yeah, I suppose he does have to be young to have also sort of transcended the sense of like, oh, I have to show off my wealth. So she's got to see my horse. She's gonna see the ride I've got. He's like, no, I'm perfect the way I am. I'm gonna run over there. But anyway, they sing boring songs. The songs are very boring to start. They only get more boring.
What is it? It's like someday my love will, etc. That's when I stopped listening, I suppose.
Yeah. Someday my love will, etc. Which gets reprised at the end when someday her love does, etc.
He does, etc. Don't kiss her. Sorry.
Then we cut to a cool scene where the queen tells the huntsman to kill Snow White. She's got herself a box, a heart box. It's got a latch that looks like the Three of Swords tarot card with only one sword in it.
Which, like, does she just have that ready to go?
Yeah. I think she's just like, I got to put my heart
for all the
something.
hearts I might need.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So the deal is kill her and bring me her heart. And then they're going to hook up, I think.
Oh.
Isn't that is that the huntsman's thing? The huntsman's like, I love you and I'll do anything for you. So here, I'll go do this and then I'll give you this heart and then we'll get to like get down.
Damn.
I don't know.
She was just like hanging her puss over his head. I'm sorry. I hated that. I didn't like that.
Say nothing else, but the queen is a masturbator.
I just thought that he was like, I'm your loyal subject. I'm your employee. Anything for queen and country. But your thing makes more sense, I think.
I mean, maybe it's just that, but I sort of was like, he's gotta be interested or something. Like, you don't just want to go kill somebody when you don't have to. Like that's what huntsmen do. He's supposed to be hunting,
especially
animals.
with no, it wasn't like a payment situation. It didn't seem like
it was just like you gotta bring me a heart. You gotta bring me the heart of my own child, and you should do it because I can't do it for some reason.
Who is the princess?
Yeah.
Like, people will be pissed if they find out it's you.
Right? I mean, for this scenario, why wouldn't the queen just be like, "Hey, Snow White, come to my chambers. I need to tell you something," and then be like, "Hey, guess what? I'm your mom, and hey, guess what else? I'm killing you." And you can't do anything
Very
about
easy.
it. Because the only thing that's going to see it is this mirror here. And guess who he likes? Me.
And that's also like, she ends up going after her herself anyway.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you have to just do it yourself, man?
I mean, this movie is stretched by narrative convenience and also by musical numbers.
Well, I think that that's also part of the Grimm's
Yes.
fairy tale as well. Like, the huntsman is always a part of it. The queen disguising herself is always a part of it. So I don't know, just women, I guess maybe that goes back to women shouldn't get their hands dirty. They should really hire a man to do it first.
Yeah.
And only do it themselves if the man fails.
I suppose it's like, hey, look, if she's the queen, she wouldn't be much of a leader if she went out and did this stuff herself. She should be able to mobilize her beloved subjects.
Yeah. Yeah. That's part of being the fairest of the land. The subjects don't know yet that she's no longer the fairest.
No, they haven't heard. She's keeping that on the DL.
Yep, that's a secret. She just found out this morning. We're going to take her heart before anybody knows.
What we actually witnessed was a sort of medieval PR meeting. He was like, hey, Huntsman, you got to come in here. We need to do damage control right now. And by damage control, I mean remove the heart from my daughter and put it in this box.
Boy, and the removing of people's hearts gets a lot of play in Once Upon a Time, the TV show.
Oh, yes, I remember that because it was happening in the early seasons. It was part of the, like,
it never stops.
Because there's like a serial killer energy that's going on where it's like, oh, what's going on?
Probably, I don't really remember many details. I mostly just remember vibes. But
yeah. I mean, it's a vibe. It's a vibes-based show.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, that's a great show for being on your phone.
I think it's a great show for like playing it behind the bar.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Like if it's just on with it's silent, like you're just like, oh, pretty people,
subtitles,
and some fun looking stuff and whatever, and like
every time you look up, you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Who is here? Sorry, that's Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah.
Why does he have such sex appeal?
Yeah. Why is he rumpling my stiltskin?
Ooh la la. I'm being genuine. A quick aside.
Oh, sure. No, as portrayed in that show, bananas.
Oh yeah. But one of my BFFs and I used to have a list of men called old men who could still get it.
Great.
And who is it that plays Rumpelstiltskin?
Robert Carlyle.
Robert Carlyle, yes.
Who was in Trainspotting.
Ha! Okay.
Yeah.
I cannot remember that, but I believe you. That feels right to me.
He's the hot-tempered guy in Trainspotting.
And also the hot guy in Trainspotting.
Also.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, they're all pretty hot because everybody's kind of young and British and hunky and they're doing drugs. They're dancing. They're getting in fights.
Oh, hubba hubba ding ding.
all of the elements. Listeners, if you do drugs and are young and like getting in fights, email debutbuddies@gmail.com. And we'll see if Kelly wants to send you a response.
I think you need to be just aged up a little bit. No fights either.
Okay.
You know what? This ad,
cancel
scrap
all of
it. We'll
None
start
of this
over.
Happened. None of this happened. So,
if you are Robert Carlyle
of any era, the voices in this scene though between the queen and the huntsman are weird. I think all of the voices in this, part of the thing is all the voice work is very like A to B naturalistic, and so it feels weird in a cartoon. It's not really until we get to the dwarfs do anybody have cartoon-ish voices. Otherwise, everyone is pretty like, I'm a person, I'm a huntsman, and I would like to do the task you've asked me to do.
You're right. I don't think that I've watched a cartoon in 30 years, so it didn't strike me as odd at all. But you're right. Yeah, it's not even actually, now that we're talking about it, it didn't strike me as odd here, but it did strike me as odd when the dwarfs didn't have super cartoony voices. But you're right that they have the most cartoony voices of anybody.
Yeah, they're
in
the most
movie.
stylized. Everybody else is doing like basic theater voices.
Which is, I think, what's happening here. Like in early movies, even with humans, non-animated films, feel like stage play. And so that's what this is. It's just a theater show with animation cells.
Someone's reading this story to you basically, and people are yelling from off stage to do the voices. Which, who knows? Maybe a live performance of that was exactly that way at some point too. I mean, I basically like a shadow puppet theater kind of thing where stuff's moving around and you're not paying attention to that. The voice is coming from elsewhere. So the huntsman's approaching Snow White here, and we get the first instance of animals kind of leaving Snow White hanging out to dry. Either because she's distracted by animals or she's not listening to animals. There's a very weird relationship where the animals kind of either clock what's going on or have no idea. And no matter what, Snow White isn't paying attention.
She's very scared. She's running away. Somebody just tried to kill her.
I'm saying even before.
I too would be distracted. Oh.
I'm saying before that because the huntsman is approaching rather loudly.
Yes.
And she sees a baby bird and is like, oh my gosh, baby bird, let me see if I can't get you back to your family. And the baby bird does not do any of the things that it needs to do in the moment that a man with a knife is approaching, like flapping or any of the things that the birds do later. Because later in the movie, the birds go,
you're right,
fucking ape shit. And she's like, whoa, what are you guys being mean to this old lady for, you crazy birds? And in this sequence, when a knife-wielding menace is approaching, the baby bird's like, just keep looking at me. Cheep, cheep, cheep.
You're so right. You're so right. That baby bird is in on it. That baby bird is on the queen's take.
It's true. It's true. So the huntsman, though, can't do it. The huntsman's like, I can't kill her.
She's too fair. She's the fairest of them
She's
all.
so fair. How could I kill someone who was fair? But then he immediately starts yelling at her until she has a panic attack and runs into the darkest woods available. Like,
just full panic attack.
Like the idea that this man has a change of heart. Like, you know what? I don't want to murder an innocent child just because I've been asked. But what I will do is endanger her almost as badly by sending her into monstrous woods with no...
He white fangs her.
Yeah, like,
go on, get.
He could have... I mean, because he could have at least been like, hey, look, here's this picnic basket that you brought out here. You should probably take this.
Yeah.
And just walk that direction. I'm a huntsman. I'm familiar with the woods and how to travel them safely. Let me give you a couple of hot tips before you head on your way. Instead, he just screams at her until she runs
to the other side. Like, I could take you into the woods. Yeah, that's a great point. I think... Do you think that he was, like, scared that he would have another change of heart? Like, if he didn't do it, like, he would be like, shit, but I really owe the queen or whatever. Damn it, the queen is still really hot. I could...
I do think that's the implication. I think that what we're supposed to believe is that he's able to break through his murderous interest in this particular endeavor just
but
enough
only for
to
a
like
moment.
Get out of here. And like you said the white fang thing. Like, that's what he does.
Yeah.
He just tries to scare her off. And he's literally trying to scare her. And he does so much that she runs into the woods and trips balls on the idea of the woods existing. So that now every tree is a monster. Every cobweb is massive.
It's scary.
Well, what's sad about this sequence, though, is she runs in there and she keeps tumbling through stuff. And that dress cannot get dirty. It is so Scotch guarded that she like slides down a tree trunk. She gets tangled in vines. She tumbles around a thing. She pops up. She's still running. Everything is pristine.
You saw how much she loves laundry.
It's true.
She's really good at it.
She's just got like a Clorox pen and she's doing it while she's running.
Yeah. Not a single tear either, by the way.
No, also not. Yeah.
No snags. Yeah.
There's a vibe here too that Walt might be. I'm going to say Walt is saying stuff because Walt is a
Okay.
principal creative energy around this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking that like Walt's leaning into like, oh, see, ladies get hysteria when things like this happen. Because she goes so far off the deep end, and then there's almost
She
this
does.
comedic beat that we cut to where she actually is, and she's just in a very peaceful grove where adorable cartoon
Surrounded
animals
by
are
little
slowly
critters.
approaching her curiously to indicate that there are no monsters. This forest is not
Yeah.
scary. Literally, she
Nope.
might have walked 2 total blocks into the woods and
Yep.
panicked the whole time, and nothing is
Yep.
in danger. And then next level of how we're mean to women with this movie, she apologizes to
apologizes.
the animals for creating a fuss.
Yep. I'm so sorry. It was all in my head. I would never hurt you. Oh.
At no point are we checked with like, hey guys, a man tried to murder me, then yelled at me and told
Yeah.
me that someone would murder me later. So I ran here and I'm a little freaked out. So I'm sorry that you guys maybe like heard a bunch of commotion, but I didn't mean anything.
This is another good reason to show this to the aliens, because you can be like, this is what gaslighting looks like. Yeah, the abrupt apology really. Even while I was dicking around on my phone, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. That was wild. The gift we get here is all of these animals are adorable and they're animated
cute.
so spectacularly well.
So
Like
good.
you want to keep those bunnies and those squirrels and the deer. Like you want all of them. I want all of them. They need to be my pets. They need to follow me
Such little
around
cutie
in numbers.
patooties.
Adorable.
And they captured the way that like skittish animals behave really well. Like coming out curiously and then like skittering
the way that the
backward
rabbits
when
and the
startled.
squirrels moved, especially where it was that
Yeah.
like that funny like back end hop forward nudge kind of inchwormy
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's really good. It's really effective animation.
It looks good.
And then she basically says like, "Hey, I don't have anywhere to go. Where can I sleep?" And all the animals kind of check around. They're like, "Well, you can't sleep in our like
You can't
rabbit
sleep
hole,
in the ground.
right?
You can't sleep in a nest.
And then she is talking to the squirrels is like, I can't sleep inside the tree with you. And the 2 like adult squirrels are like, no, you cannot. There is no room in this tree for you. They give
All of the animals were sort of like that. Like, no, in my hovel? No. Look at you. Ew.
they give such rejection face for this whole thing where it's like
Gross.
It isn't that this is logistically impossible. Like you will not fit. It is that like, no. We're not taking
No, that would
hens.
be the impropriety of that. I cannot stomach. We'll take you to the dwarfs. How about that?
How about you go hang out with these guys? So then Snow White and some animals find a house in the woods and they perform a B&E.
Yes. It's very okay. However, I do love this meme. Have you seen this meme of it's from this scene when she's like peering in through the window and she presses her nose up against the glass? There's a meme of her with her nose like
That I like.
pigletted
That's great.
on the on the window, and I really like that. So it was good to see that in action.
Yeah, it's very like, I mean, okay, it's fine. If she's like 14, this reads
Yeah,
a little
totally.
better. The fact that she looks 20, animation-wise.
Does she?
She does.
Huh.
I think
It's so hard to say. She's got the Vaseline face
Yeah, but she's
of the
just, like,
Q-tip
she's so
airbrushing. No, just because we've only seen her next to bunnies and dwarfs.
she's almost the same height as the prince.
Yeah, who's 15?
Yeah, but like okay, so we're to assume that he's 15 and has not yet had a growth spurt, but she has had a growth spurt, so she's the same height as a
Girls have their growth spurt first.
I'm not disputing that. It's fine. Look, maybe everybody was just shorter. It's 1937. They're like
They were shorter. They were for sure shorter.
peak height for these people is going to be 5'5" anyway, so they're going to read 5'2", and that makes them children.
Yep. And so the dwarves are 2'2". Goodness.
She breaks into this house, and she's just using their chairs, and then she's picking around through all their mess because these dwarves do not clean. And she's like, oh, it has to be messy because they're children and they must not
They're
have a mommy.
orphans.
Because
I'll
the
be their
only
mommy.
circumstance under which anybody's house would be dirty is children lacking a mommy.
No woman.
Yes.
No,
Yeah, there's a
no
lack.
woman.
But she's just like, she's in there. She's touching axes. She's picking up socks. She's messing
Stop
with shoes.
touching everything.
She's blowing dust everywhere.
She's like, don't touch their stuff. Stop touching their stuff. Don't put it away. They're not going to be able to find
everywhere. Yeah. And she really does. She comes in there and she's just like, this is all woman's work. So if
I'm a woman.
If I do the work, maybe they'll let me stay here. I can exchange my labor for goods and services from these people I have not met yet who could be terrifying murderers.
Nah, they're little kids. Don't worry about it. Here is where I did relate. Because at first I was like, stop touching stuff. And then I was like, how many times did I trade keeping a house clean for room and board? A bunch. If Chelsea were here, unfortunately she is. Where is she?
She's in Kuala Lumpur.
Thank you. If she were here, she would tell you that when I did not have a job after college, I stayed on her couch and just kept the lower floors clean. That was my job. That's how I kept my place there.
Well,
did that with some friends in Conway, Arkansas as well. Shout out Adrian. Hey, thank you. So
I'll retract my concern then. You are our generation Snow White. And you have been...
Well, I think I must have learned it from her. Do you remember how many times I watched this movie?
You're like, wait a minute. I wonder if I could pull that arrow out of the quiver.
Wow, Snow White really impacted me. And honestly, thank you, because I don't know what I would have done.
So they start cleaning. Because she's like, oh, we'll just clean this place up.
She's just assigning work to the animals.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So she's got a deer using its butt to pump water. I don't know why the deer is using its butt to do that.
There's a lot of butt activity. There's another deer using its butt to dust.
Yeah.
There's another another smaller critter.
There's a squirrel or bunny using its butt. There's
everybody's using their butts. Yeah. There are a couple squirrels using their butts to dust, to sweep, to dry dishes. A lot of butt activity. Is real butt heavy scene.
Yeah. All butt stuff.
All butt stuff.
After 20 minutes,
Only
Snow White is all butt stuff. She kind of stops working. Like there's a period of time where Snow White is just managing all of the woodland creatures available as they do her bidding.
I guess every work site needs a supervisor.
Yeah, sure.
Question mark.
I did like the birds carrying the water in. They came in with
I did too.
With some sort of like handkerchief full of water, I guess. I don't.
Yeah.
'Cause they certainly didn't have like a sheet of plastic or rubber in 1937.
No, it was probably like a beeswax coated.
Yeah, sure.
Something like a waterproofed moleskin of something.
Yeah. And they come in and they just dump a huge amount of water into a flower vase, which is cute.
Very cute. I liked that there was a little deer licking dishes clean until Snow White is like, no.
Yeah.
Use the water, please.
That was great. I was bummed
Very
when she
cute.
corrected them because I was like, this is how it should be. The animals are just
So
like,
cute.
the deer's licking, the squirrels are rubbing their butts on the plates. And then she's like, no, come on, guys. You got to like do the dishes right. And they're like,
You are going to give them all rabies. This is...
No concern, though, for the deer that becomes a drying rack who is covered with laundry.
No.
She just keeps piling laundry on that deer.
Who looks distressed.
Yeah. I immediately waited for that deer to Flintstone style be like, it's a living.
Yeah. Well, I thought for sure it was going to topple over. It just stumbled.
Oh, yeah.
It just stumbled.
And then Snow White singing because we're singing Whistle While We Work. And again,
Yep.
I don't like her singing voice. It's here. We don't like it. Walt's 14 speed talk singing is distressing.
It sounds it's gotta. Folks, just give it a Google.
Yeah.
Just give it a little Google.
Yeah, you just have to hear it again to kind of believe it. But it's
Yeah.
weird. It just because it doesn't feel like it's attached to any human voice.
No.
And it really I don't know. It seems like the voice of someone who is being forced to stay in a freezer while they sing.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody's being shaken.
Yeah. Like just can I just do this? No, you're doing a bad job.
Yeah.
Sing warblier. So we cut over to the dwarfs, and the dwarfs are in the mine. It might be someone's dad's emerald mine. I don't know. But they're digging
There's
around
no way to
in there.
know. No, it's diamonds.
I guess, but there's a lot of colored diamonds in this mine.
Oh, I wasn't
They're
paying
pulling
attention. I was on
green,
my
they're
phone.
pulling red, they're pulling blue.
Well,
I know.
curious.
I can only assume that's because
Curious.
children would be bored by all
By just white.
diamonds everywhere.
But you know what? The glitter animation looked really
It was
good.
good. It was sharp. Yeah. Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah.
There was a very interesting texture to the way the mine looked.
Yeah.
The rocks did have a metallic and crystalline sort of sheen to them. It was very pretty.
And like stars. It was very. It looked good.
Yeah. And then 5 o'clock happens, and they got a hi-ho.
Yep.
So they start singing. And
Hi ho.
and that song's still bop. That's great.
Oh, it slaps. Yeah.
Good song.
Yep.
And I don't understand why they sing it for the entirety of the walk from the mine home. It seems like they probably got the gist of the song, at least after going through it once, maybe twice. They kind of know what it's about.
Just because it's such a banger. They just like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be.
Is it so that they don't get lost? Is this like they so they can find each other?
They are all walking literally inches away from each other. They just seem to be both excited about going to work and coming home from work, and those are literally the only two things they're interested in.
I love their enthusiasm.
Yep.
I think that's great. I think it's wonderful. I also loved that they put all the diamonds into a shed that they locked, and then they hung the key next to the locked door.
I was going to say, they have a very low
That's really
security
nice.
sort of situation for their vast mineral wealth.
It's just a very trustworthy. Who's going to steal
Yeah,
it?
they're like,
the
look.
buns, the little bunnies.
Yeah. What do the buns want? The buns don't need diamonds.
What are the buns going to do with
They
diamonds?
can't do anything with diamonds. They're buns.
They're buns. Lot of butt stuff
Yes.
in Snow White.
So much butt stuff. So then, Snow White, having led an army of woodland creatures to clean a house, is like, you know what I should do? I should just take a nap. I'm going to lay down.
In their beds.
Yeah, across 3 of their beds. She's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take 3 of their
Goldilocks
beds.
style.
Yes.
Rude. So rude.
So she's in these 3 beds, and then we go back to the dwarves because now we're in a high tension mystery sequence. The dwarves don't
Yep.
know what's going on. The lights are on in their house, so they're
There's a fire
they're
going.
weird. Yeah. There's a fire going. They enter their house, and they are fully ready to ambush something. There are 7 of them.
Dragon.
They are terrified, and yet they are wielding weapons as they approach their own home.
And they fully are going like stand your ground rules.
Yes.
They're like, we're going to kill whatever this is.
It's a monster.
in
It's
the
got to be a
house.
monster.
It's a monster and we're going to
We
kill
are
it.
surrounded by entirely harmless animals all the time. But the
All the
only
time.
thing that would ever be in our house is a monster. And so we will murder
Who
it.
came in and dusted
Yeah.
and swept and cleaned our glasses and we're going to kill it.
Yeah. And then we get like, you know, Dopey's clothes don't fit him for some reason. So despite the fact that that's almost certainly an
They're
OSHA
all the same
hazard for
size.
mining, like you're gonna get wrapped up in something. Like,
Do you think OSHA is coming out here inspecting?
well, I think
Do you think-
OSHA has to be founded because Dopey dies in a mining accident. Like, there's absolutely no way Dopey survives past this movie.
You're so right. You're so
It's
right.
impressive
He
that he
can't.
survived the food poisoning from an entire bar of soap. He could have shit himself to death.
He burped it up.
Yeah, which I also do. I got confused about that. Well, let's jump to that real quick because
Yeah.
it seems, I always assumed that like he swallowed the bar of soap.
It didn't
But
seem
the
that
way
way.
that
Now,
it, the
did
way that
it?
it shoots off the ground directly into his throat, it seems like maybe it's just in his lungs now.
It might be in
And he's
his
just going to have the
lungs.
cleanest double pneumonia possible.
That would explain all the bubble burps,
Yeah.
right? Like that's. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, you might be right. He's got soap pneumonia.
Yeah.
And 1937, this is soap with lye in it.
That's true.
This is like soap scum soap. This is not good soap.
You're going to get TB
Yeah,
from that.
this is yeah. R.I.P. Dopey.
Yeah, R.I.P. Dopey.
All because Snow White was like, wash your hands before you have dinner.
Yeah, you guys are dirty, and you've never cared or had any issues with this before, but I insist.
Their immune systems must be rock solid.
I see what you did there too. Rock solid. Better than mine. It's great.
I know. I was like, after I heard myself say it, and then was like, how do I double down? How do I double down? But I couldn't get there.
Must be A minor. Huh?
And that's why you do. I see what you
Here we
did there,
go.
and why I flounder.
We also get introduced to all the dwarves' different sort of tendencies in this sequence as they're approaching. So we see that Grumpy's grumpy. We see that Doc has a stutter, I guess, and wears glasses, and that's the only reason why he's called Doc.
Dopey's dopey, sneezy sneezes, bashful
so
is bashful.
hard that he knocks people across the room, and then they tackle him.
Pretty good.
And I think what they did to prevent him from sneezing a second time is like technically abuse. Like they are pinning him to the floor.
They like. It's fine. He says thank you every time.
Sure. Yeah, that totally makes it okay. No one has ever said
Yeah.
thank you for abuses they received under
Nope.
the repeated conditioning of that being the rule.
Nope, not ever.
So then Dopey notices that Snow White is writhing in the bed. And so here's my concern note, which is she's 14. And for some reason, this 14-year-old is sleep moaning quite a bit. And also, somehow she's like sleeping, but she keeps raising her legs and arms and moving all of the sheets in such a way to make it appear that there could be a monster there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got a sleep disorder for sure.
Yeah, there's something going on. Her paralysis demon is not visiting properly. She's getting an anti-paralysis demon.
Yeah. What's that sleep disorder that Mike Birbiglia has, where he acts out his dreams and jumps out of look into windows?
Yeah. I don't remember what it's called, but yes, that's exactly what she has.
That's what Snow White has.
But it's isolated to staying stationary on a bed, but writhing in a way that is absurd.
Well, so far.
We don't know. We don't know what happens after the end of the movie.
We just don't know.
All those dwarves can't get out of there fast enough. They are terrified. Then they think that they have the monster, and so they are beating Dopey to death with all of the weapons they have. Then they realize, oh wait, never mind. So, no big deal. We have to kill this other thing. And they approach her, and I think basically like they see that she's a girl. They like pull the sheet off of her. And this thing that was just like, kicking around, she's just laying cozily on her side like a little angel. So again, I don't understand what all that motion was. But then Grumpy immediately is like, ugh, women. And
well, yeah, he's grumpy.
Well, but here's the thing. Grumpy isn't grumpy. Grumpy is he's just a misogynist. Like he literally doesn't. He's not grumpy about anything but women. It seems like he is grumpy that women exist. He's grumpy that women ask him to do things, and he's also running for a Republican senator. I think is what Grumpy's doing.
Okay. Until that last part, I was on Grumpy's side because if some broad rolls up into my house and is asleep in my bed and cleaned and moved all of my stuff, I'm grumpy. I'm going to be pretty cranky about that.
Yes.
Like, wake the fuck up. Get out. Who are you? Move. Leave.
Yeah, I don't mind any of that. You're absolutely right. Grumpy would not be wrong. The vibe is what he says implies that if they had found a man sleeping there, he would have been like, all right, whatever. Goes so hard on the fact that she's a woman repeatedly.
Yeah, he is a little bit like, girls, can't live with them.
Yeah. Can't kill him.
I guess you
Can we?
could. Like, you just need to make a pact with your 6 brothers, I guess.
A better movie?
Are they brothers?
I don't know. It's
I was
unclear how
thinking
they're
that
related.
a very funny cut of Snow White would end here with them just beating her to death under the sheet.
Yeah.
And the sheet just gets redder and redder and redder as she bleeds out, and then credits. That would be very funny.
Well, look, it would be cool if Grumpy, like, dips out of the hi-ho line briefly, and the queen is there, and she's like, hey, check this out. I got this open deal for a heart, so if you see this pretty lady, and you want to drop
If you
a heart
see a
on
pretty
me,
lady, kill her.
just drop a heart on me, and I'll make it worth your while. Like, Grumpy would take
Especially
her up.
because you can be like, if you see any lady prettier than me.
Oh, yeah.
Was beauty not in the eye of the beholder in
No,
1937?
it was just that mirror. That mirror is the only
guess
beholder.
not. He was the beholder.
Bashful grosses me out. I don't like Bashful.
Bashful is weird.
I don't want to be mean to Bashful, but like
Yeah.
there is a creepy, like, it's just uncanny value creepy how Bashful becomes embarrassed and then does the like you know?
He does like a little boy thing. Yeah, I don't like it. I also don't like it.
Not cool with that. Also because I
No.
thought about it a little bit. I was like, is Bashful being queer coded in a negative way? Is that what's going on here?
Oh no. Do you think so?
I don't know. I don't want to say that that's definitely what was happening, but it was a thought that crossed my mind where it was like, oh.
Oh boy, you know what just happened is I was like, I think if anybody is going to be queer coded, it was Happy, which is a synonym for gay.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
Hey.
Were they? It does feel like they were up to something with one
of
or
course they
both of
were.
them. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like there is stuff within the text that we can read into a little bit to go like, oh, the reason why adults would think this was funny was because of these reasons, right?
I bet that there was a lot of that in this that we didn't get because it's so archaic at this point.
He opened a door with his left hand. You know what that means.
No.
I was confused why Sneezy didn't sneeze the whole time that they were working or walking home. Because it's just when they get home to the place that has just been spotlessly removed, cleaned of dust, and then he sneezes. He's walking through the entirety of the woods. It is implied that he has hay fever because this comes up again later.
That would be in the woods for sure.
Somehow all the dust from mining doesn't bother him either.
Yeah,
Does Sneezy
that's
have
a good
black lung?
question.
That's the other good question.
I think he might have black lung.
I mean, I know that's technically for coal mining specifically, but like, I guess he could have some sort of
dust
He's
and
got diamond
stuff.
dust lung. That can't be good either.
I mean, isn't coal a precursor to diamond?
True.
So
yes.
there's a lineage
You just gotta
here.
squeeze that coal a little harder.
Yeah. So there's dust. There's dust. Uh-oh. I'm worried about him.
Yeah. Well, he's dead now. I mean, it just doesn't matter.
R.I.P.
Well, I guess it depends how long dwarfs
I don't
live.
know.
He could be
Right.
ripe, whatever. He's probably 70 in the movie. How old do you think the dwarfs are? They'll have long white
25.
beards. They all have lost their hair and have long white beards, and some of them need corrective lenses. And they all have just gin blossom noses, because clearly they are
gin
drinking
blossom noses.
every day other than this particular movie that we're watching where they do not consume alcohol.
That we notice.
Right, sure, yeah. There's probably a flagon here or there that we're not clocking.
Yeah.
So yeah, Snow White's just so stoked about doing housework, though. She wakes up, she's like, "Oh
She
my
loves
god,
it.
you guys are so great. Can I just do your housework forever? Can I live here and do your housework? You guys need me. You need a mommy. That's the only role I was ever built to fill.
I'm so good. I'm so good at mommy.
You guys are clearly adults in some form or another, but what if I was your mom anyway? Isn't that the male fantasy?
It's very infantilizing straight away.
disturbing.
Like at first she's like aghast. She like pulls up the sheet to cover. She didn't change into pajamas.
No.
She's wearing her like daytime clothes, but she pulls up the sheet over her like, you've caught me in my bedclothes. And then says, why, you're just little men. Can I guess which one you are? Because all of their beds had their names in them. That is risky business.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if any of their names, if you assigned it to the wrong person?
Oh, sure.
Yikes, do.
I think the idea of saying, hey, I broke into your house and you found me sleeping in your bed. Can I just name you all?
Can I just guess your names
Is this a good
now?
opener for our interaction? You nearly murdered
You're
me.
lucky you're pretty, lady, because they're all taken aback right now.
Yes.
This is a movie about pretty privilege.
It sure is. Because, then immediately after naming all of them, she is like, you guys are disgusting. We got to give you a bath.
And they're like, oh, shucks, you caught us.
Every single one but Grumpy, who's like, I like being dirty.
Hey, man,
Dirty is me.
I love that for you.
Yeah. And he should
We
have
could
been
send him
allowed.
over to OnlyFans. We can have everybody else on OnlyFams, and Grumpy can just go be dirty.
Well, they should not have like gang assaulted Grumpy to bathe him either. I found that very problematic.
I did too.
They full on like,
and they were like,
won't let him go. They are throwing him into the water. They are pinning him down and scrubbing
they're
him.
pinning him down. He is a grown man.
He's a grown man.
Let him go. And just leaving poor Dopey to deal with his situation silently alone.
Who cares? Nobody cares about Dopey. And then they all kind of take a nap, I think. Is that right? Yeah.
Well, they have dinner and then they do their little songs and dances.
Oh,
and then
yes.
it's bedtime.
Yes. They do their dances. We watch them bathe for a very long time. We watch them.
It's a long scene.
Yeah. All of these scenes are so long and so little happens. It is one of my biggest gripes about the movie. It's like, okay, cool.
Well, there are 7 of them. And we have to watch them all brush their teeth.
Yeah, each one in meticulous and real-time detail.
Yep.
So
I was surprised that for a family of 7 dwarfs who never clean anything, that they had 7 individual bars of soap. It's like, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's convenient. Who came along and bought them 7 bars of soap?
one imagines that they got
many
like
years ago.
soap as a housewarming gift when they first
must
moved
have.
in and just never touched it.
They must have.
So it's got that like
and it's just
old
been
champagne that you never drank kind of energy to it.
and it's got that like weird, it's like oxidized on the outside.
They are bathing themselves. We cut back to the queen and the mirror again, and the mirror just doxes Snow White straight up. Like, there's no reason.
Straight up.
He's just like, oh no, she's in the woods at the dwarf's house, and she's still prettier than you.
You know, the dwarfs, the 7 dwarfs.
Yeah.
That's where she is.
She's there, and she's prettier than you. So,
and she
just
is
FYI,
hot as fuck.
it's going great
dude.
for her. You are a day older. She is just getting more ripe.
She is blossoming into her own, and you might as well be dead. Like, he is being so mean.
and then the queen is like, oh, hey, this is also a pig's heart. This isn't even the heart I asked you for. Well, shit.
Should have looked at
now
this more
I gotta
closely.
do something myself. This is exhausting. You send your huntsman. You could have just sent yourself to do this. And then we find out that outside of the room where the mirror is and the room where the throne is, the rest of the castle is goth as hell.
It's so goth. You're so right. This was something else that I remembered so clearly. Her like kicking a water bowl out from under a skeleton.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that is some goth ass
Right, 'cause the
visualization.
implication is the skeleton was alive and that was the only thing that they
she
were
just
given.
let it. And she just let it die and then decay and then decompose in her living room?
It's wild because this is a woman who so hates her daughter for being pretty that she
Yeah.
doesn't even take advantage of the fact that she is the best housekeeper in all of the land. Like, you could have at least had her
Right.
clean out your potion dungeon.
Like this place could look so sparkling
And if it
clean
was
right now.
organized, guess what? I bet the queen would be a much happier person.
I think so too. You know, a cluttered home leads to a cluttered mind.
She's surrounded by the detritus of her own emotional instability.
Yep. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right, Nate.
But the potion scene that comes here is fucking awesome.
Also got this
She's
out.
making a potion. It is dark. It is gritty. It feels metal and evil and horror. It's full on horror. She is.
There's everything that you want.
Yes.
There's spooky sounds. There's lightning. There's, well, the subtitles did say a thunderbolt, and I was
Yeah.
like,
I mean, that's in 1937. We didn't understand how weather worked yet, so it was.
I
Probably
guess science hadn't been
thunderbolt.
invented yet. Yeah.
But yeah, the whole transformation is great. It reminded me a lot of the werewolf transformation in The Howling and in American Werewolf in London. Like, she's turning into an old lady. She like falls on the ground.
Yeah.
She's like getting
Yeah.
disjointed. Her hands are going like getting all stretched
They
out.
look crazy. And she like responds appropriately. She's like, look at this.
Yeah. It's like,
She's like astonished
yeah, she's
also.
like, holy shit, I'm as ugly as I tried to be. Wow.
I'm old. Oh, my voice. Like
Yeah, she's
I believed her performance.
she's deeply excited that she has cracked the code to just, hey, you know what? If I can't be the fairest of them all, I might as well just cash them all in. Cash them all in potion.
You know what? You know what I did think was really funny about this scene though is that this spell wasn't like become old woman was not the spell. It was become peddler.
Yeah.
Like this is pretty anti-peddler. Like this is
The movie is pro-traditional gender roles and pro-capitalism and is anti-everything else. That is it.
it was pretty cruel toward peddler.
It's like, man, well, here's the other, okay, just from a plot sort of thing. We don't feel as though Snow White knows that her mother is the queen, right? Because she was stored immediately elsewhere to do labor.
No, I think she knows because she announces herself as the princess to the dwarfs.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
So I think that she knows.
So, but then, I don't know. Then I'm just like, well, couldn't the queen just like wear different clothing? Like, it doesn't seem like they see each other very often, like in person.
No, I don't think that they're like having dinner together.
Right.
Like, I think that, okay, so correct me if I am wrong. Okay, so the queen is her stepmother and her dad, the king, is dead.
Okay. Is that how this goes? Because yeah, I have been confused about whether the queen gave birth to her but didn't want a kid.
Stepmom.
But this is okay. So the actual scenario is the king was with Snow White's mom, gave birth.
Yeah.
Snow White's mom probably died in childbirth because that happened in Grimm fairy tales all the time. The king is distraught.
Yeah.
He goes out. He finds the next available looker. Turns out she's a Machiavellian mind fucker, and the
That's
king
what happens
dies
when you pick the prettiest
somehow,
lady. Question
mysteriously.
mark? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the problem is I'm remembering a lot of this from Once Upon a Time
Okay.
and they took some
Sure.
liberties
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure in Once Upon a Time the queen kills the king.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true to the literature.
I mean, it would have been cool to see that happen.
Yeah.
It would have made it more Shakespearean, a la Hamlet.
It would have.
If we got a little bit of
Yeah.
vibe. But
Yeah.
that's okay. Look, this movie wouldn't work if Snow White had any motivation of her own, so it's better this way.
Right, that's not the central thesis.
Yeah. The point is Snow White is not a complete person until her prince comes
No.
along.
She is two-dimensional
Yes.
in every way possible. That's why it had to be animated.
yeah.
That's why we couldn't use real
No.
people.
No corporeal actress can play this role because they will have 3 dimensions by default.
They would have one too many dimensions.
So the transformation happens. It's fucking cool. Then we get
Metal.
then we get the washing and dancing interlude, which is so boring.
Oh.
Because they're just like trading songs. Bashful has to do his song. He's too nervous to do it for like 2 verses, and then he like tears it off. There's no clear reason
Cheeks
why.
are so red.
Cheeks are so red. And then we have to do this weird like, oh, there's a fly now. So for an
Yeah,
additional
Fly's a main
5 or 6
character
minutes,
now.
this fly is bothering the other dwarfs as they play instruments, and they're trying to like kill him on the drums and things like that.
This had to have looked so cool. Like
Yeah.
the only thing I can think is that this was like peak animation and people were like, wow, this is incredible. I want to see it in like that's what this had to have been. The fly must have been just showcasing something. Like maybe that type of minute detail was new.
It could be too just
or
all the motion that's happening at the same time, because I mean they are
Yeah.
all doing something while it's going on, right? And I
Yeah.
will say the pipe organ they have is awesome.
It's so cool.
That pipe organ is super cool. I want one. I would never know how to play it, but it is just the coolest looking
But it
thing
looks
with all the
great.
little doors up the shafts of the pipes, and just
Yeah.
everything is very sort of it looks bespoke in a very like traditional German cuckoo clock, Swiss cuckoo clock kind of way, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
some
Oh,
artisan
which
put a
goes
lot
back
of
to
work into
Grimm's,
this.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
that's a cute little homage that they did. I didn't even think about that. That's a good observation.
Snow White then takes the floor and sings about her prince, which is just kind of the same song she was singing before, but she's singing it again to be like,
That's
hey, you know what? I'm not really worth anything now, but someday a man will come
My
and
prince
he
will
make
find me."
a full person. I can be complete later.
Almost.
Maybe. And to the credit of the movie, none of the dwarves are like, wait a minute, we're all right here. Like, you want a man?
Right.
Like, that doesn't happen. So that's cool that doesn't happen. And then
They are all very like, tell us more. What's the gossip? What's the hot goss?
they have fallen fully into the, oh yeah, we are your children. Let's just do story time.
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah.
nap time. And then we get watching them sleeping, which also is just like feels like 10 minutes of watching them sleep.
It's
while
a long
sort
time.
of subtle animated cute things happen.
Yeah. And including the fly, he's sleeping on one of their
Yeah.
noses. I don't know. All these white guys look the same
It's
to
true.
me.
They're all technically almost the exact same animation model too. So like I had a hard
Was
time
it-
keeping them apart because it's like, oh,
Sneezy's no? Was it Happy? I don't
Yeah.
know. He was sleeping on somebody's nose.
while they're sleeping, we cut back and the queen is poisoning the apple. Also,
Yeah, got
badass,
to. So spooky.
goth scene, very cool.
Looks so good.
And then the queen is like, she's gonna have this apple, and then she's gonna make her heart's desire wish, and when she takes a bite of this, she will go to sleep, and everybody will think she's dead, and then we can bury her alive. She is so stoked about burying the girl alive.
And she's so certain that that's what the dwarfs will do. She's like, they're just going to bury her.
Yeah.
They're going to bury her.
Yeah, they'll bury her alive,
Obviously.
of course, and it'll be
Obviously.
and that's great because she was prettier than me, so she should.
And you know what? She deserves it.
And then my next note is, so we're gonna watch her walk the whole way to Snow White, huh? Because
Basically.
she exits the castle, she walks to a cave, she gets in a boat,
She's like, hi ho, hi ho.
she rows the boat down a river Styx adjacent looking thing. She then
And this is like not really a montage, guys. If you haven't seen it,
it's slow. And
like-
we watch her travel in the boat, and then she disembarks the boat, and then she walks
Yep.
yet more. And then I was like,
yep.
basically, a modern audience would expect to see her like get into the boat and then maybe step out of the boat, and then she would just
Slow
be
dissolve.
at the dwarf's house.
Right.
This movie is like, no, we need to see that she goes into the forest and she goes around the corner.
Let's take a look at the forest again.
Yeah. We got to make sure everybody is clear that she is going the distance here.
Yeah. Yeah. And the night before, when they were talking about Snow White being in love, or does this happen now before the dwarfs go to work? They're like, you got to be careful.
yeah.
That queen's coming
Yep,
for you.
that's right now. Doc.
That's right
Doc
now.
pulls Snow White aside and is like, "Hey, you got to be careful of strangers. The
Yep.
queen's bad, but there's also just like anybody who comes here. You're a lady
Anybody.
by yourself.
You're 14 and you're stupid. Look at me. You're dumb.
Yeah.
And you need to accept that. So be
You
careful.
completely upturned our lives in an evening, but you are too stupid to manage yourself. And also, we have numbers enough that one of us could probably stay with you, but we're not. We got to go to work.
No, we got to get them diamonds. We got to make that back. We got to get that bread.
Yeah. We got to go back
Who's
there.
paying for this house? Do you know what the mortgage is? And now we've got 8 mouths to feed? No, we're going to work.
Plus all these
so
animals
you be careful.
that you keep bringing in here, they
Idiot.
eat too.
So just shut the door, okay? Stupid. You're pretty, but you're dumb.
So they take off, and and then the movie again is like, can we shift down another gear? Because we're going too fast. This movie is too fast. So now she's just back to doing housework, and she starts singing the same My Prince Will Come song.
I guess he will. She's not wrong.
She's making pies with birds. She's making a pie for each dwarf themed around their name. And she's letting random birds use their little feet to crimp the edges of the crust.
Rabies. We're getting rabies, man.
I mean, look, we live in a time of bird flu concerns. And this is just like, you know what? What if just the birds were making pies for us?
And this is before pasteurization, probably. I don't know. When did we invent that? I don't know.
certainly wasn't invented in movie time. It might have been around in 1937. I don't think that they have
refrigeration is what I'm saying. So I'm nervous about these pies.
These pies are just sitting out all day. They're getting cold.
Yeah.
Bugs are landing on them. That fly is just
Gross.
like leaving little fly eggs everywhere.
Just little fly poops and eggs. Bacteria is growing. Gross. Now I'm grumpy.
But I do like that the birds take center stage here. And if Chelsea were here, Chelsea would love this too, because it gets very bird heavy right now.
It's a bird heavy film.
The birds are ready to bake. They're baking. And then the birds also, when this completely not suspicious peddler arrives, peering in the window like a fucking creep.
I love the way that she shows up though. This looks good. So she like blocks the sun that's hitting Snow White first. And so the thing that catches Snow White's attention is shadow across her face, which is like, that's a cool detail. I like that.
It is in filmic language talking about the darkness that is falling over Snow White starting now.
Yes, it tells a story. And she looks up, and this made me laugh out loud because the queen, the peddler, the old lady peddler who is the queen, is just like leaning in the windowsill like, hey.
What are you doing in there?
Hey, what are you doing?
Do you want to buy any apples? I've got a basket of apples.
This one specific red apple in my basket of green apple.
This one looks really tasty, doesn't it?
Don't you agree?
The dwarves left 15 minutes ago.
We can still hear them singing, basically.
Doc saying, don't let anybody you don't know in the house, has to be still.
And Snow White was like, ears. Except for this woman. She's just an old lady.
She's starting to take the bait. The birds immediately are like sitting on the branches. They are distant, like distant birds are up on a branch and they're like, wait a second. This is exactly what the dwarf said would happen.
My birdie senses are tingling.
They start freaking out. They are full on Alfred Hitchcock mobbing the peddler.
Yes.
And Snow White is like, oh. And she comes over there and starts beating them away with like,
be kind.
Yeah. She's like, don't do that, you stupid birds.
Snow White.
And you're just like, Snow White, come on. How can you be such a dumbass? Like, this is...
Will you focus up?
You could have... Like, she has been interacting with these animals in a way that would lead you to believe that she has some sort of, like, psychological...
Like Dr. Dolittle style communication.
They understand each other. And in this moment of her greatest need, when she should be pitched to be aware of trouble, they give her everything they could give her, and she's like, no, you guys are stupid, get out of here.
Well, you know what, this is more the woman's role is to be the consummate hostess.
No, you're right, because it is just like, look, we don't lock our doors around here, it would be rude.
No, let this old woman in. She felt tired. I don't remember what she said. Let her in.
Yeah. She just needs your help to load a couch into the back of her station wagon, and she recently hurt her
That's
shoulder.
all.
Just do it.
That's
what could
it.
happen to you? So then, yeah, she gets it. The apple works because the queen knows what she's doing. And
Yeah, she's a good witch. Well, no, sorry, she's a bad witch, but she's good at being a bad witch.
She's an efficient and effective witch.
Yes, yeah.
So the Snow White drops. We don't even get to see her like take a bite or any of the stuff that might happen to her. I think because we're trying to avoid probably the ratings board concern that like, oh, if you witness the death, that actually makes this like an R-rated movie.
But it's so much scarier to imagine it. Like the way that this is shot is very the way this is animated is very like artistic. I don't know. As somebody who hosts a horror movie podcast called Never Show the Monster, this was very like, ooh, the bad thing happened off screen and we just get a shot of like her hand falling to the ground and letting go of the apple.
The way that hand drops, the way that it like the arm falls, and it falls lightly enough that she's clearly like slowly draining of life. But I mean it doesn't imply that like, oh, you've been snap poisoned, you're out. Whomp. It's more like, oh no, I'm fainting, and then she drops,
no.
and her delicate little hand drapes, and then the apple rolls out.
Delicate little hand. Oh, that's art, baby.
And then all the animals that are available run to the dwarves. And the dwarves also aren't listening because everybody's a fucking moron. And when it comes to like, look, the animals are coming to you. You are in a Lassie scenario. What else?
In a Lassie scenario.
What else could be going
Come on?
You know that you have an irresponsible child in your house.
Beautiful idiot at home.
And why would the animals be running to you if not because the beautiful idiot needs your assistance?
Exactly. Like there's one bad thing that could be happening today. Do you think this could be related?
Yeah. I don't think the deer want your diamonds. I think that they are trying to alert you to something important. Like worst case scenario, the house is on fire and you just need to go check that out.
Go.
Like there's literally no reason to be as defiant about this. But they are like resisting. They are like trying to, what are you crazy animals? Well, and then they finally go like, oh wait, it's probably that one exact problem that we should have thought about.
It's the beautiful idiot. It's the beautiful idiot with the bounty on her head. Got it.
Beautiful bounty idiot. So then they give chase and they catch up to the queen very quickly. Just
hi ho. What is that doing?
2.5 speed, hi ho, cruising along. Yeah. They catch up. The queen is moving pretty fast for a peddler, but she's not a peddler, obviously. She's just in a peddler disguise. And she is moving at a clip. They are chasing her. They chase her way up on top of a cliff, a cliff that is so dangerous in just its look that it is foolish to walk onto it in the first place. But she does. Because, you know, she's queen. She thinks she's won.
Cocky.
Yeah.
Hubris.
Yeah, it's all hubris. And then the dwarves don't even have to do it because good old Mother Nature and a lightning bolt takes care of business. Not only does the lightning bolt cause the cliff to break, so the queen tumbles into a chasm, but a boulder also comes rolling off the hill at the same time, just so that we're completely certain that not only will she splat, but she will be so fully liquefied that there will be no return to grace.
And there have been vultures following her. Like, we see the vultures start following her on her trek through the woods, and you're like, oh, they know she's evil and she's going to kill the beautiful idiot. But then they swoop down after her. Damn! She gets got by gravity. She gets squashed by boulder, and then she gets gobbled by vultures. Like,
I mean, at least she gets gobbled one last time. You know what I'm saying?
God, she deserves it.
The other thing is the vultures just see that she's old and assumes that like, oh, she's gonna die soon, so we'll eat her whenever that happens.
Oh, you think that's what it was?
I thought so. I don't think that the vultures don't give me a sense of like, oh, these guys are like they're actually in the know about where evil is happening. I think they were just like, oh, finally something old wandered into the woods.
You're so right. You're so right. That's so funny. Oh my God. That's so funny. Oh my God. Oh, they knew from the beginning.
Yeah, they're like, okay,
she's gonna
cool.
die.
This lady put on a food costume. Let's follow her around until she becomes food.
Yeah.
So then you'd think we'd be happy, but we're not because Snow White seems to be dead.
Yeah, she's still dead.
Dwarfs are just really sad because you know what? She's pretty and she's nice. And
She's
those
so
people
pretty.
shouldn't die.
And so instead they put her corpse in a glass coffin.
She's interred like Joseph Stalin because they love her so much.
Fuck? What the fuck? I also thought that this was so strange because they know she's the princess.
Yeah.
And they don't like tell the kingdom.
No.
They're like, we've got the corpse of the most beautiful, of the fairest of them all, and we're just gonna have her on display. Let's charge.
And they're having their own
admission.
private daily ceremony because it sure seems like
so
what they're doing.
Now somebody can stay home from the mines with
well,
her.
now they
that
don't
she's
have anything
dead?
to live for, right? They had a
Guess
pretty
not.
housekeeper, and now they don't.
Yeah, now they don't.
One of their, because who knows how many months pass that she is in this glass case interred.
Now we get a montage. Now we get a montage of the seasons
This is
turning.
true. Okay, so yes, so some time has passed, and this whole and the implication is that the dwarfs are going back every single day, and they're doing some sort of like we all have to get on our knees, and we're sad about Snow White, this person who we know for 3 days maybe total, because she
don't
broke
even
into
think
our
a full
house.
24
Yeah,
hours.
she broke into our house, she cleaned it, she forced us to bathe, then she sang
But
for
damn it,
us,
she was pretty.
and we all slept in the same room, and then we let her die because we were stupid. We mismanaged this situation. So in one of these daily things that have been going on for maybe a year, maybe 2, maybe 3 years, that same prince, who is clearly not completely useless, just sort of sidles up on his horse, and he's like singing, and then it seems like he maybe already knows that she's dead in the case.
He sure comes in hot.
It's unclear to me because he doesn't.
No, it said that yes, he did know.
Oh, 'cause
he had
there-
heard
yeah,
tell
there's a-
of a dead woman who was of a pretty dead woman. He had heard tell of a pretty dead woman in a glass coffin, and he was like, "I knew a pretty lady once."
Yeah. So you're saying she's
I
pretty
bet
dead, or is she
it's
pretty
her.
and dead? Because if she's pretty dead, I'm not interested.
Tomato, tomato, Prince Charming.
But yes, I forgot because we do after the queen dies get another like storybook overlay. We get more text to read that precedes the seasons turning, and then he just shows up. Yeah, he shows up. He does not have even a beat where he's like, "Oh God, the girl that I chased that one day is dead. This is
He
horrible."
just goes in for that
just
kiss.
walks over there.
He's like, "I'm gonna kiss that dead girl.
and
I'm gonna kiss that dead girl right
and
now."
somehow the glass is no longer there for him. Because it's not like they retract anything. It doesn't seem like they open the glass coffin. He just walks up. He's like,
It's magic.
Smooch, one smooch. It's a peck
to this dead girl who's been dead for
3 years,
an amount of time.
Yeah. But you know, I don't know about you, but you go to funerals and you just kiss the body. Like that's what people do, right? That's normal. I'm teasing. That's a horrible
It just
thing.
felt very much like you wouldn't let me kiss you while you were alive, so I'm gonna do it now.
I'm gonna take mine now. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I'll take this and I'll take my leave. But she wakes up.
Unfortunately.
Poof.
Ah.
Also not particularly surprising to anyone. There isn't like a oh fuck, what's going on? There's just a
No.
oh hey, cool.
Oh.
He's back, I guess.
Oh, I'm glad we did the glass coffin thing. Can you imagine if we had buried her
That would
alive?
have been a real bummer. We sure have egg on our
Yikes.
faces. So then she's on the prince's horse and they're walking away.
Yeah.
And the moral of the story seems to be pretty enough that your dreams come true and a man saves you from yourself, and kiss all of your friends goodbye because you're a wife now. She has to say goodbye to the dwarfs as if she will never see them again.
Yes, he's taking her away. She can't talk to other men now that she's spoken for.
Yeah.
You can't speak. That's what spoken for means.
Sure. Yes, he does her speaking for her because that's how this
Precisely.
works. So yeah, so she kind of, is she singing at the end or no? She's just riding off. There's no singing.
No, I think they both
Okay,
sing. I
yeah,
think it's a
they're kinda
duet. I
singing
don't know.
a-
I
yeah.
wasn't paying attention.
That's cool. And then they live happily ever after. There's your movie. It's a
classic
movie.
ending to a Disney movie. I, you
Yeah,
know,
I do. I agree.
it was 84
It sure
minutes or
was.
whatever.
It was 84 minutes that felt like 2 hours because it was so slow in spots. But it had
was
some
pretty slow in
badass
spots.
horror looking stuff that was very cool.
Yeah, dude, the queen looks so cool.
And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the movie, and yes, and ultimately the movie holds up to the extent that we haven't taken it down already. Like it's other than being a very like, hey, women's room, a women's place is in the kitchen. You're just going to be happiest if you do that, and you wait for
Yeah.
a man to sweep you off your feet to presumably make it so that I don't know if she has to do housework again now that the prince has her, or if she just does housework for him. That's a little unclear. We don't ever find out.
That is unclear. Yeah, I think it's best that we
Yeah.
don't. I think that we wouldn't like the answer.
I think she's spoken for, and that's probably the answer. We already
Yeah,
hit that.
yeah.
We already hit that button.
At least he's hot. At least he's not an
It's
old
true.
man.
Yeah, yeah. He is 3 years
So-
older than he was when she died, though, and it's
And that's a good
unclear
question.
whether or
Is
not
she
she
still
aged.
14?
Yeah.
I think she's still
Yeah, I don't think
14.
she's
I
aged
think
in
that
that
we're
box.
more concerned about the emotional age than the age of her body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's gonna be still
That
trying
is
to play
troubling.
squirrel games, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, so we need to have
Have
some
you done your
heirs?"
taxes or Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. Well. So the happily ever after does have some asterisks.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
It seems to be preceded by and followed by asterisks. just,
Yeah.
just so we're good.
Maybe a question mark or two.
But you know what time it is now?
I sure
It's
do.
time for the MouthGarf Report.
MouthGarf!
The MouthGarf Report. Open wide for some lasagna.
I hate
We have the
Monday.
movies on tap thing here, which is the charitable
yes.
monthly movie thing. So I was able to attend one of those for the first time in multiple months because the December movie I missed because we got COVID. And the January movie I missed because Jenny's office like holiday anniversary party thing was the same night. And
Yeah.
I had a blast. So I didn't leave. I could have tried to dip out, but I was like, no, this is great. So I went to this one, which was the film Superbad from 2006.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. Blast from the past.
Wildly, I never saw this movie.
I don't know that I have either.
So yeah, 2006, I would have been 25. I also would have just gone through like the worst breakup that I ever experienced in my entire life. So I was in very
Oof,
much
not
like
really in the mood for
I was
comedy.
in like a very closed off, whatever kind of place. I wasn't
Yeah.
doing stuff like that. And I was watching this movie questioning whether in 2006 I would have enjoyed it.
I think I was closer to the appropriate age demographic in 2006.
Yeah.
I think once you're in your mid 20s,
It's a little tough to do the
maybe
like
a little older
high school seniors dealing with growing up kind of movie. It's
Yeah.
and I like those storylines. Usually they will pull my heartstrings pretty well because I do enjoy that kind of coming of age stage, right? The idea that
Yeah.
you do have to sort of transcend what your life used to be to have a new life, and that always means
It's
growth,
a huge
you know?
Yeah. Well, does it always mean growth?
Well,
I don't know. I hope
It does.
so.
It always does in the movies, right? It doesn't necessarily in
Yes,
real life
yes.
deal out that way, but the films are always that, right? Like I love Dazed and Confused. That's another one that is very much like
Yeah.
what if this, but in the 70s. And Superbad is basically just like the 2006 version of Dazed and Confused, of kind of a less raunchy American Pie kind of vibe. Like they're all in the same lineage. I didn't really enjoy it, mostly because a lot of the humor just doesn't hold up. There's a level to which you cannot use the like F slur, and
Oh
things
no.
like that
Oh no.
in a movie.
I imagine the R slur.
And the R
as
slur,
well.
yeah, like
Yeah.
these things don't feel edgy or interesting and exciting. They just sort of feel like, you didn't have anything else to say,
Embarrassing.
right? These guys are just saying
Yeah.
stuff because they don't have anything to say. The section with Bill Hader and Seth Rogen are police officers who are terrible. Like they're just
Okay.
bumbling idiots who take McLovin to a bar and then are driving around and blow up their own cop car and things. Like that was kind of entertaining in a way.
Yeah, it's very of that era. It's very of that era.
Yeah, it's super of that era, and keeping in mind that that era now is nearly 20 years old. Like it is
I
nearly a
know.
20-year-old experience of reality. The
Yeah,
movie has everyone has flip phones because it's 2006. And 1 year later,
Yep.
everyone will have iPhones. Like we are
Literally 1 year.
that razor's edge kind of thing.
And everybody had a razor
It's
is
true.
the phone that
Yeah,
they were using.
yeah. That's good. I see what you did there.
Thanks. So I get it sometimes.
It also made me just kind of feel old because I was looking at Michael Cera and Jonah Hill, and they look in the movie to me now to 43-year-old, actually 43-year-old Nate. That's how old I actually am, or is it?
Oh,
the I'm watching this and I'm like, man, these guys look like babies, and
Just little
they did not
babies.
look like babies to me. Because I saw like Michael Cera in Arrested Development because he was on that show, and I certainly watched that in that
Yeah.
era. He did not look like a baby to me then. He looked like an awkward teen. And now
Are Michael Cera and I the same age?
Could be.
Is my question. Because I imagine the two of us as the same age, me and Michael
okay,
Cera.
let's find out. Listener, what do you think?
I'm
If
Googling.
you
I'm
have a bet,
one-handed
you need to submit it
Googling.
before Kelly says the answer to debutbuddies@gmail.com.
We are the same age. We are both 36 years old.
And were you born on the same day?
He's about 6. Unfortunately, no. He's about 6 months older than I am. So
Jeez,
it could
yeah.
work.
Well, it certainly could work if that's your angle. I don't see why not.
You know, I love a schnoz.
Well, yeah, plus
I love a unique nose.
He was in Twin Peaks: The Return. There's a lot of reasons to like
which I
him.
haven't gotten to yet.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's something for a little.
I'm on my way. Oh, he's 5'9". We're the same
Oh, there you
height.
go.
Are me and Michael
Okay,
Cera
okay.
the same person?
You might be. I've never seen the both of you in a room at the same time. I will say that.
So, I was in Barbie.
You were. I remember specifically. We talked about it on the podcast how you were in Barbie.
Yeah.
So Superbad was interesting. I wouldn't like it wasn't a terrible experience. I think like I saw the
Yeah.
virtues in it. There were some cute things. Like I liked the ending the most because it hit the beats that my old man heart just likes when like people come to the realization that, oh hey, instead of being mad at each other because life is changing, we should just love the time we have with each other and embrace each other as
Yeah.
friends and recognize that we don't have to be inseparable for us to stay connected.
Yeah. And that's also like, I don't know, that's a nice idea even as olds. Even now that we are olds,
Yeah.
you can have had an impactful time and that doesn't get cheapened because you're no longer close. That's okay.
Exactly. So I saw that.
Plus McLovin is
Oh,
like
yeah.
first of all, that actor is in Pitch Perfect, one of my very favorite films. So
He's in Pitch
that's
Perfect.
in its very, very briefly.
Oh, okay.
He like leads the audition. So like I don't even think he has a name. He's just in it. God, how many times do you think he gets called McLovin
I think
a day?
always, constantly.
I think every single time he's been recognized, it's been for that role. Boy, what a
Yeah.
curse. I'm so sorry to that guy.
It's a movie that is so clear in branding, like, and introducing. He's the and introducing for that
Yeah.
movie. And not to say that he's
Well,
had
and it's
a career
crazy-
for sure, so good for him, but a little bit of a bummer
Yeah.
to be like, I'm fully defined by being this kid.
The McLovin guy. Like, I have not seen that movie, and I know him as McLovin. despite the fact that he is in Pitch Perfect, one of my very
Right,
favorite
you're like
films.
McLovin is in Pitch Perfect.
So,
you're not like the actor
McLovin is in
Pitch
Pitch Perfect.
Perfect, and he also portrayed McLovin. Yeah, we have no context for him as a person outside of McLovin.
Boy, what a bummer for
It's a
that
real
guy.
McCurse, you might say.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah. And I have been otherwise watching The X-Files. I'm railing through season 2 because I was just like, let's
Hell
just
yes.
do this. I just want to get back to some X-Files for a little while. So
Ooh, that'll feel so good.
it's really good. I just recently watched the episode with the beef growth hormone in the high school kids, and there's kind of like a cult of people who are trying to keep people from eating red meat and killing cows.
Yeah.
And the kids are getting branded with they're basically like being drugged, and then they walk out on the street and it says he is one or she is one on them, and it turns out there's like another guy who's sort of obsessed with the fact that they have alien DNA in them because there's alien DNA in the growth hormone.
In everything.
It's good. It's a good one.
In everything, always. I am almost remembering that, but I'm definitely getting it conflated with the weird beef hormone episode of Doctor Who.
Yes.
So I'm getting my sci-fis mixed up.
Everybody's hitting that beef hormone well.
We're very nervous about beef hormones as a people.
I mean, back then too, you would have been thinking about mad cow disease. That would have been big info in the late 90s. So it makes sense. And
then probably again in the late 2000s with the Doctor Who revival, or maybe not mad cow, but maybe bird flu. And I could see how we would just recycle it.
Yeah. We're always afraid of the results of mass-produced food and how abusive we know it is.
Yeah.
It's
GMOs, etc.
Yeah, we're constantly skeptical of these things. Someone surely must be trying to kill us or inject us with aliens.
Yeah, or vampires or gargoyles. Oh, actually, that episode of Doctor Who stars Giles.
Anthony Stewart Head? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Great.
thank you. Yeah, he's in that episode of Doctor Who.
He's a great actor.
So you should watch it.
I should. I'll rewatch it. I gotta find it. The other episode is a classic super banger, which is the Satanist teachers at the school, and the kids keep having these weird experiences, and the teachers, and especially the one substitute science teacher lady who is full on
chemistry,
Satan.
Yeah. Yeah,
and she's stabbing herself with pens and like putting her hands over the fire, and we're getting like the eyes.
That's season 2, huh?
Yeah.
That feels like a season 1 to me. That's so like iconic.
It's super. It so holds up too. It's so creepy so foreboding, like tonally, and the mood, and it's so good. It's just great.
Man, maybe I'll
it's a
join
really good.
you
It's
in a rewatch.
it's a wonderful show. If you haven't watched the X-Files, listeners, come on.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
And then listen to our episode on the first episode of the X-Files. Right. I mentioned last time I've been rewatching Twin Peaks. I finished canonical first 2 seasons, and I'm about to watch Fire Walk with Me. I've been dragging my feet at watching a movie, so it's been hard to get to it. But when I do, which will be soon, I will finally be able to watch Twin Peaks: The Return, which I never watched. I haven't seen it at all.
I haven't seen the whole thing
excited.
myself. I've just seen some parts of it, but that's also like I need to go back to Fire Walk with Me. I really need to go back and watch season 2 of Twin Peaks because that's one that I like seem to bounce off.
I did not remember it well. So I've been doing that and apartment hunting in San Francisco is what I've been doing. I mean, I've been still in Colorado, but I'm hunting for apartments in San Francisco, and it is a challenge.
Listeners, if you can find Kelly an apartment in San Francisco that meets specifications, we will provide you with the heart of the fairest woman in the land in exchange.
It's true. In a dope box, a collector's item box.
Yeah, limited edition signed collector's tin.
Debut Buddies box. It's just our faces smiling cheesily on the front.
While that telltale heart
And then you
beats
open it and
underneath.
there's a heart. Yeah. So that's all I've been up to. Nope, thought I had a bird story. I don't.
Yeah, I don't have any bird stories either. Other than we did finally get kind of springy weather. It's
Yeah, same.
40. It was 40 degrees yesterday. It was mid 50s today. It's supposed to be in the 50s consistently for the 10-day.
Ooh la la.
So I do notice that the birds seem to be out more and vocal. And
Yeah,
there is
yes.
true magic in that. The birds are like, I think we can be birds again.
I've had some snow white ass birds outside the window. Look at this. Hold on. Check this out.
Yeah.
I'm wearing
Amazing.
shorts, bitch.
Yeah, listeners, we got a gam in the chat.
That was my whole leg. No, it was in the 60s today.
That's
Can you believe
amazing.
it? I have bad news, Nate. I just got an email that I was denied for the apartment I applied for.
That's the worst. I see what you did there.
I see what you did there. Let's go.
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to play a game. It's time to play. I see what you did there.
Okay, let's do it. Kick me while I'm down.
These are all snow and white themed.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So you can have a
Okay.
great time. Number one, this
KKK.
Oh, shit. I should have, but I didn't.
No,
I
it's
shouldn't.
best that you
and I'm
didn't.
glad I did. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Number one, this Northern Irish Scottish rock band, whose name sounds like a synonym for mountain rescue, had a hit with their 2006 single Chasing Cars. And this mixture of hydrocarbons can be used to protect and heal skin and remains a medicine cabinet staple. Just don't put it on toast.
Okay. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know what to do. Will you read the second part first? I think I have a better chance of getting
Yeah.
that.
This mixture of hydrocarbons can be used to protect and heal skin and remains a medicine cabinet staple. Just don't put it on toast.
Okay, read the first part again.
This Northern Irish Scottish rock band.
That's insane. What?
I know they're both.
Both?
The band's name sounds like a synonym for mountain rescue. And they had a hit song in 2006 titled Chasing Cars.
Will you sing it?
No, because I don't know it.
Okay. Do they have other songs I might know?
Probably.
Okay. A synonym for mountain rescue.
Yeah, yeah. So who like let's say you're doing a mountain activity and you get stuck
Yeah.
up there. Who comes up
Yeah.
to get you?
The National Guard?
Well, but it sounds
Army Reserve.
but it sounds like mountain rescue. What happens on mountains in the winter?
Snow.
Great. What does a police officer do routinely? Like when they
Kill
travel a
people.
perimeter in a circle. Yes, they do that also. But when they're traveling a perimeter repeatedly, what is that called?
Patrol?
Great.
Oh, Snow Patrol.
Great. Okay. You're halfway there. Now, let's talk about this mixture of hydrocarbons that you should not put on toast.
Petroleum? Snow petroleum? Oil?
What would you put on toast?
Butter?
What's a sweet thing made of fruit you would put on toast?
Jam?
Softer, less chunks.
Jelly?
Great. Put it
Oh,
all together.
petroleum jelly. Snow petroleum jelly.
You see what I did there? You got it.
Nate, I am so sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. They're all. It's all downhill
Do you know
from
what's
here.
so stupid is I literally have petroleum jelly in the bag that I am showing Nate.
Great. It's
On
it's
screen.
present.
For my chapped lips.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next.
Number two.
Oh no. Okay.
This American television personality, game show hostess, and Miss Georgia USA contestant has been flipping letters on Wheel of Fortune since 1982.
Okay, I've got this one.
And this is a trippy track by Jefferson Airplane that draws on Alice's Adventures in Wonderland for its psychedelic imagery.
Vanna White Rabbit.
You see what I did there?
Okay, we're back, baby.
That's right. We're back. We took some licks in the first one, but we came out punching. Good.
Oh boy, I was not feeling optimistic. Okay.
Okay, number 3. This noun means a feeling of sorrow, disappointment, distress, or remorse about something that one wishes could be different. And this Barbie and Little Women director co-wrote the script for the forthcoming 2025 Snow White live-action film.
I did not know the second bit, but Regreta Gerwig.
You see what I did there? Regreta Gerwig.
Yay!
Absolutely.
We're back.
Yeah,
We're so
yeah,
back.
Yeah. So maybe the live action could be kind of good if she co-wrote it.
I'm down.
Pretty good writer.
I'll watch it. Yeah, I love her.
She's not
Loved
directing
Barbie.
it.
Still,
It's a little bit of a bummer, but yeah.
who do we know who is?
Not anybody that I have heard of.
Okay.
Yeah. Regreta Gerwig.
Regreta Gerwig.
Regreta Gerwig. Number four. In the 2002 comedy drama Tiptoes, Gary Oldman acts on his knees, really, to portray
Yikes.
a man with dwarfism who happens to also be the twin brother of this repeatedly all-right actor, Lincoln salesman, and bongo enthusiast.
Wow.
And this Nickelodeon animated series featured a boy with a football-shaped head.
Okay. Hey, Arnold. Got it. Okay. And so let's start over with the first part.
Yeah, so what you really need, all the Gary Oldman stuff aside, but that's how I tied it
Yeah.
in because he's pretending to have dwarfism in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
You need the name
okay.
of the actor who acts against him in the movie, who is repeatedly all right, has sold Lincolns, and is an enthusiast for bongos.
Okay. Yes. Matthew McConaughey Arnold.
You see what I did there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying all right so
Yeah.
distinctly. I caught that you did it the first time, but it really landed the second.
Repeatedly all right.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Okay, last one. Number five. Kristen Stewart played Snow White against Charlize Theron's evil queen, Ravenna, in this 2012 action-adventure film. And this is the common name for the image of a human face that can be seen on the surface of Earth's nearest natural satellite when it's fully illuminated.
The Huntsman on the Moon?
Yeah, Snow White and the Huntsman is the full title of the
Oh.
film. But yeah, Snow White and
Okay.
the Huntsman on the Moon.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
you see what I did there?
Not too bad.
Yeah, that was
not
great.
too bad. But I forgot about the band Snow Patrol entirely.
As one does.
Could not. What's that? What was their one song? What was the Chasing Cars is what you
Chasing
called
Cars,
it,
yeah.
But I don't remember. I no idea what that sounds like.
I don't know either. It is one of those songs where I feel like it played on the radio
I'm
constantly
certain
in
I would
2006,
recognize it.
7, and
I'm
8.
certain I would
To the point,
recognize
yes, where you'd be like, oh, that's
Right, this was on the radio.
But never would you be like, oh man, I'm at karaoke. I gotta do.
I'm gonna
this
do
song.
Snow Patrol. No, sorry
Right.
to Snow Patrol. They're big listeners. I'm sorry, I
Yes,
don't know
yeah,
your
sorry,
music.
Sorry to Snow Patrol.
I was too goth.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's just no way that we're going to do your music at karaoke. I'm sorry.
No, that's perfect. Now we can talk Debs. That was an excellent.
Yeah. That's what we should do. It's time to talk Debs.
How many dibs? How many dibs? How many dibs? How many dibs?
All right.
Huh.
Hit it. You start. You open.
Oh no!
Open us up.
Can you believe that I did not consider this at all until this very moment?
This is live podcasting, folks. This is the magic. This is the magic happening as you listen. I'm vamping for time.
You're
because
doing
Kelly
a good
still
job
doesn't know.
because I'm just
We've been talking now for like 25 minutes
just gazing
about
into the
Debs,
distance.
and she still doesn't know what to do.
Well, there's a lot to
Yeah.
consider. I think I'm going to go 4 stars on this one. The bulk of those stars are earned because I do think that it's a good film to show aliens should they land and have questions about our culture and society. Points off for all the times I got bored while watching it as an adult. But I did fucking love it as a kid. So, you know, when your brain is less developed than Snow White's is, it's a pretty good movie.
That's a good metric. If you're stupider than the beautiful idiot in the movie, you will enjoy it. I think I'm going to give it a 4 also. Really the same reasons you have. I think ultimately this movie is a valuable artifact.
Yes.
It demonstrates what amazing things we could do with just human power, making art, spending thousands of hours creating this to put together something that, again, it's 84 minutes or something. It's not a long movie.
It's easy to knock out.
And it's not a movie with a lot of like cuts or scene changes. It's very kind of straightforward. Like, hey, we're here and we're going to do everything within this sort of frame, and it's going to move a little. Like, it's not visually challenging in the way that movies are now.
No.
And that's part of why it's boring, because it just doesn't. It exists to be lived in, and we no longer have brains that allow that to be a thing that we do, which is why it's great for kids, because kids like it. If a child could stare at a lava lamp for 7 hours once they have object permanence, you know, this is a kind of equivalent.
God, and lava lamps
like,
didn't even exist yet when this movie was made.
Barely even lava for that matter.
We certainly, only a few of us had discovered it. That was tasteless.
And they didn't make it
That was
back.
a tasteless joke.
Ooh. I mean, it was a little spicy. It just is a movie that's hard to enjoy in 2025 because it is so traditionally gendered, it is so conformist, it is so sort of sluggish and not propulsive, but it looks great. It really does. I mean, we can't emphasize enough how beautiful this movie is and how beautiful the hand-painted backgrounds are.
So good.
And how there's one sequence where they do an establishing and they swing, they kind of go, it almost seems like a drone shot going into the Queen's castle.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool. Like there's a sense of depth and motion and everything. It's great. And all of the
That's
Queen
right
scenes,
up at the
as we
top.
said,
I know which one you're
are
talking about.
awesome.
It's right up at the top. I remember being struck by like how the depth perception changed, because it like the bits that are blurry as it goes forward changes. Like it was very striking.
Yeah, we're physically moving through the scene in this one moment where it's like, oh, this is infinitely deep.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
You wouldn't imagine. And all the Queen's scenes are great. Like
so good.
They understood how to do a mix of like badass, creepy, horror, magic, goth energy, like right out the gate. They figured out how to do that. They did it while keeping the movie from being violent or dark or any of the things that like it could have been. And I think something like Snow White and the Huntsman is that, right? It's that 2012 era of what if Snow White was shot with a blue filter and also we just did violence, and what if it was just a lot of fighting and running and screaming and all these other things,
which is boring.
And I don't think that movie did that well.
Boring to me. But I love this movie as a child. It's
replacing. So. I mean the contemporary idea of we replace all the music with violence, but it's still the same thing, right? It's just like we still don't really have we don't have enough story here, and we're not going to build it. We're not going to create a lot of character interactions. We're just going to make sure that like this goes along differently. So yeah, it's a 4.
It's a 4. Which is better than I think I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even talking, like, I was thinking coming into this that it was going to be like a 2.5.
Oh, yeah.
But as we talked about it more, I really do appreciate a lot of these things.
I mean,
and,
it looks
and
good. It looks good.
And it's fun. Like, it's fun in its
cute.
way. It's not.
It's 1937
like,
fun.
yeah. You know, we're riding high. We've been in the Depression for 8 years, so
Now
you know, it's like finally I can see a picture.
God, I can't wait for World War One.
World War II. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, you're right. We've already done it.
Hitler's pretty much like Chancellor of Germany.
Oh, he's
around
over
now.
there.
And we're like kind of not doing anything about it because people are sort of like, I don't know, fascism might be the solution.
Hashtag
Lots of people are thinking that way.
appeasement.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of appeasement, we're going to do another episode of the show for you after this one, because that's how this works, right? You
Surprise.
listen and we continue to create stuff for you. And we just have a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Like so many forest creatures and so many beautiful idiots. On our next episode, we're going to have a fantastic special guest. And we're going to talk about something that neither Kelly nor I has ever done or likely will ever do.
No, I feel certain.
Because it sounds painful, exhausting, vomit and diarrhea inducing.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
We're going to be talking about the first Ultramarathon. So strap in, grab your Gatorades,
Get your sneaks.
plant your shoes, call some lady friends. You'll know what that means when you
Yeah,
listen.
call back.
Make sure. Yeah, this is a classic call forward. Thanks to recording things out of order.
Movie magic, baby.
That's right. That's right. And the best magic of all is that I won't edit this out.
No.
I'm just going to wave my hand around in front of the microphone, and you're going to feel me telling you you forgot.
The listeners are allowed to know that we record things out of order sometimes.
Yeah, lots of podcasts do this. It's part of what makes everything feel human, right? Because otherwise we're just too polished and mechanical.
Right. We're not AI. This is how you can tell. This is to call back to earlier when I couldn't remember Elphaba's name. We're doing a peek behind the curtain a la The Wizard of Oz.
That's right. We are not AI. We wear pants like you, and we put the
Not me,
pants
though.
on
I wear
with one leg
shorts.
and then with the other leg. And Kelly's legs are shorter because the legs are warm right now.
Yeah.
So they don't need to be covered.
Yep.
We're real people, we promise. So join us for a special guest and a discussion, a fascinating, I'm just going to say, it was
really
a
fascinating.
fascinating conversation about the first Ultramarathon. And, if you survive that, which you will, because it's really not hard. You just listen.
You can just listen.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
It's not particularly harrowing. When you survive that, we'll do another episode.
Yeah.
And you'll find out what that is after that one. But you know how all this
Get
works.
excited.
Look, and because you know how it works, you also know that we want you to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. And that means going to Apple Podcasts, giving us 5 stars, mash that like button, mash it, and then write whatever you want in the comments. You want to talk about your experience with Snow White, or maybe you have a first animated film, a first Disney film that really, really hit for you. Let's talk about it. You can go on a tirade about how all of the forest creatures from Snow White are pretty much the same forest creatures from Bambi. And I had a moment where I was like, oh shit.
Bambi was
Snow
in
White
this
and Bambi,
movie.
like hung out.
Bambi and her mom
Thumper too.
were in this movie.
Thumper was definitely the one
Yep.
rabbit that was like most curious.
Yep.
I was like, oh shit. The gang's all
The gang
here.
is all here.
So yeah, if you had an observation like that, leave that in the review. Give us 5 stars. Also, email us, debutbuddies@gmail.com. Do you have an idea for something else we should talk about? Do you want to be a guest on the
Yeah.
show? You fancy yourself a talker?
Yeah.
Do you? Huh? Punk? Do you? Shoot us an email. Let's hang out. Let's have a chat. Let's get into something that is a first that you are passionate about, because we'd like to learn.
We love to learn.
We love learning around here.
We love
We also
learning.
love spouting nonsense, but we also love to learn.
It's true. Honestly, if you want to write in with your favorite episode of the X-Files, we were talking
That
about
too.
doing X-Files first. We could do first listener favorite episode. So maybe.
I am so deeply into that it would be great if you
Yeah.
would email us. And if you don't, we might just do something anyway, so don't worry about it too much. But also please email us.
Yeah,
It
debutbuddies at
sounds fun.
gmail.com.
Do it, debutbuddies@gmail.com. if you like the music that we play, it's all Michael J. O'Connor's original compositions. He does jingles for us, but he also does real ass beautiful music. He's very talented. Check him out, michaeljoconnor.bandcamp.com. And if you fancy yourself a reader and you want to read, maybe you want to read a murder mystery about a muffin man and a baked good murderer, well, you should go to Spaceboy Books, because Do You Know the Muffin Man is our most recent 2025 release.
Hell yeah.
It's got a bleeding cupcake with a knife in it.
So scary.
Think about that.
So scary.
What does that even mean? Yeah. Yeah. You are what you eat.
I guess so.
So if you eat murder,
Don't.
you're a murderer.
There's that episode of The X-Files about the sin eaters.
Oh, yes.
So we've got a lot. We're pivot.
That's
Now
right.
that Chelsea is studying abroad, we're slowly turning into an X-Files podcast.
It's true. We're gonna sort of metamorphose here and there. It's fine. We're buddies. This is what buddies do.
X-Files buddies.
We're debuting new concepts. We're
X-buddies.
debuting new concepts. No, I mean, look, maybe that's the thing. Maybe we get tired of doing firsts and we just go like,
just
okay,
do
every
X-Files.
episode is the first episode of a new podcast.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fun
This
gimmick.
episode, we're debuting an X-Files podcast. Next episode,
We'll try something new.
Now we're a baked goods at home podcast. Now we're a trad wife podcast. I don't know. We can do anything we want.
We'll figure it out. Right
Literally
in
no
debutbuddies@gmail.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I do not, except for good vibes for finding an apartment in San Francisco. Thank
Hell
you.
yes. Send those vibes.
Send
them
me
now.
those vibes.
That's right. And if you also send $5, like,
Yeah.
I mean, who's gonna miss
That'd
it?
be dope.
You know? Just saying.
Yeah.
So we'll be back with the first Ultramarathoner. And until then, yo-ha!
Yo-ha!
Bye, buddies.
First